don't think I've heard this jam before on Minimal House.
Yeah, I haven't heard this one either.
I'm not feeling it. Just not.
It just reminds me of sitting by a hotel pool.
Reminds me of an elevator again.
Yeah,
a little bit more of a.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm already feeling it.
You already like that one better, huh? I think we are day 363.
Oh!
363. Are we up on YouTube?
We should be.
Okay.
It says we are.
Yeah, we are.
Did you not see it yet, Lizzie?
I do see it now.
Hey, guys, welcome into the show before the show. We start the show about 8 o'clock. CancelTheShow.com. Thanks for everybody jumping in, liking, subscribing, sharing the show. Good morning, everybody. Karen, Barbara, Tanya, Bendy, Chris, Trish, the names I see right now. Ben, good morning. And good morning to Lizzie and Joe as we get things ready to roll here.
Minimal House is very trance-like today.
There you go.
It is still the show before the show. Please like whatever platform you are. And if you've got time, go on to several platforms. If you haven't seen X yet, go in and subscribe there and share there. That is just growing and growing and growing. And of course, if you're on Facebook, share it to a friend. If you're on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Clout Hub, we're up on all of them this morning.
We had 200 live viewers on X.
Yeah.
When we closed out the show on Friday. It is
We
insane.
We have hundreds and hundreds that are live, and equally, well, actually more on our patio.
What's a patio?
What's a patio?
What's a
patio?
A patio.
A patio. I meant, well, you know what that is? That's my new word for podcast audio.
Patio.
Patio. Mm-hmm. So if you're listening over there afterwards, well, they wouldn't hear this part. The audio, if you're listening on just audio only, you don't hear the show before the show. So if you go to iHeart, Google, Spotify, Apple, Google, all of those after the show, you don't hear the show before the show. You know what? I'm going to make a book of the cancel this vocabulary so people can follow. We have a special vocabulary here.
I'm liking this better. Sorry. You guys getting to know me.
Yeah, so is this a different one than Minimal House? Or did he just move the song along?
This is Minimal House.
It's Minimal House. It's just a different song within that playlist.
Got it. So you just moved it along.
Hey now. Hello. I'll go to shake. Balls.
To the wall. Balls. Balls. To the wall.
Balls.
Oh, yeah, you can make a song out of that, Joe.
Just add to the song.
That's right. Just add it. And Donna, a couple people like the new patio word.
Hey, good morning, guys. Welcome to the show before the show. There's like 30 things to go over. Let me get all of our stuff together here right before we get started.
I am going to use that new word, patio.
The patio.
Patio is a podcast on audio only.
Uh-huh.
So you just say patio, go to the patio.
A patio.
A patio. Not a patio, a patio.
What's a patio?
Patio.
A patio.
Go to the patio on
The patio.
the patio.
Hope everybody's ready to rock and roll today. Good morning to Greg and Donna and Mike and Megan and Sally.
Anthony comes on and he likes to call us heathens. I don't think it's just you and I he's calling heathens. I think he's calling everybody heathens.
Have you guys heard?
Mm-hmm.
He's got the voice. He's on TikTok. He has a paid for voice, and there's tons of videos that are made. Usually, if there's an event that's gone on,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a sarc, he's got this very distinctive voice. I'll find it after today.
Who are you talking about?
It's a known voice on social media,
Okay.
and they use his voice to do these funny voiceovers with video, like "Good morning, you." Rise and shine, you effing truckers.
Uh-huh.
Go attack this effing day. It is all about you.
I love it.
Obviously, he's got a tremendous voice. I don't.
Yeah, you do. So you could say what Anthony said. Good morning, all you cancel this heathens.
It's time to rise and shine and take what's effing yours.
That's right.
I think I know who you're talking about. He's one of Joe Rogan's buddies.
I didn't know that.
I think so. He's a comedian, I think. If it's who I'm thinking.
Oh, see, Donna's coming to my rescue. Her definition of patio is a place where you gather to listen to a podcast, cement not included.
Okay.
I like it.
I can deal with that.
I can deal with that too. Great definition.
Golly, there's so much going on. For the first time in about I don't know, since we've been doing the show, there was an accident on 40 East from St. Louis County for me getting here. Seriously, from
That's-
Lindbergh.
Yeah.
First time ever in a year and a half.
Yeah.
The only thing that had slowed me down before was snow or ice.
Correct. Normally it's us coming out from God's country.
You guys
here.
were, well, you're good.
Yeah, but we were
Joe's
fine.
been good lately too. Damn, Joe's been getting here early.
Been coming from Fenton these days.
Yeah, because he's coming from the opposite way. That's why he's been
You
here.
come from Fenton? You got a little place in Fenton?
He's
No.
got a little something.
Oh, I knew you were. They called you All County Joe for a reason.
Right.
Oh, County Joe. So that's why he gets. If you people,
Damn.
you people come from St. Louis to Chesterfield, you're on time. It's us coming out from God's country. It takes us a minute.
Now back to this Fenton deal.
Bro, Joe, you opened your big mouth. Now it's coming out.
I should have just said, oh, traffic's been really
Actually,
good lately.
you said he was coming from Fenton, didn't you?
I don't know.
I
Joe
did. It was me.
Joe did.
I'll take it.
Uh-huh.
Good morning, you heathens.
That's right. Good morning.
I knew, no, see, but I knew
Victorious
Joe had people all around the counties, and I just didn't know which one.
Joe is a player. Mm-hmm. We love to razz Joe. It just is so much fun.
You're a silent assassin.
A silent assassin.
Shooting up St. Louis.
Maybe he's the one that ran into Gus's Pretzels. Are you the one that ran into Gus's Pretzels?
What the hell happened to Gus's Pretzels?
Some lady, somebody in St. Louis City ran a red light and then ran right into Gus's Pretzels.
Hey, by the way,
Mhm.
St. Charles County has grown on me.
Of
I
course
lived-
it has.
I lived there for a long time. I didn't move to St. Louis County until like, I don't know, almost 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
When I moved here, though, I lived in St. Charles County.
Mhm.
And now I like it again. I
Yeah.
spend most of my time there.
Yeah, I wonder why, Mr. Fenton. Oh, I mean, Mr. God's Country.
Yeah, I only got one place to go, though.
You only got one place. Joe's got a lot of places to go. Mm-hmm.
I'm
yeah.
in Wing Haven.
Yeah, you're not in the part that's Swing Haven, though. You're just in Wing Haven is where you're at. Mm-hmm.
Hey, guys, thanks for liking, subscribing, sharing the show. So much to get to today. So things good in Fenton, Joe?
About as good as they can get in Fenton.
As good as they get. So Fenton is where all the cool people go. That's what
I was out in Fenton last week. I finally stopped
Fenton
into
is
the.
nice. I like Fenton.
We were coming back from the lacrosse game in Eureka. What's the big gas station? That's like a
Bucky's?
Oh, no, that's
Oh, Wally's.
Wally's.
Bucky's.
Yeah.
Well, there is a Bucky's.
There is a Bucky's down in
Bucky's
Texas.
Down in Texas. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Bucky's. Like there's one in Springfield, Missouri.
Oh, is
now.
there?
Yeah,
that
there's
far
one
up
in
north.
Alabama.
Bucky's.
Bucky's is a bigger Wally's.
I was in Wally's for the first time and quite impressed.
Yeah, yeah. So if you like Wally's, you'll love Bucky's.
It's kind of like a Schnucks with gas, like 100 gas
Yes,
pumps.
yes.
I have to say it's nicer than Moscow Mills because I live so close to the bluff,
You
Gravois
do.
Bluff.
Yes,
So it's like
yes.
everything's right there.
Oh,
now
shit, it's
out in
8:05.
Moscow Mills.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Gravois Bluff. I like that a lot.
Yes, St. Louis County is corrupt, just like Chicago.
Damn.
All right, let's go ahead and start the show, big man. Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house. He's almost now he's like DJ Pro Joe.
He is like DJ
Pro Joe DJ Pro Joe.
Joe on the ones and twos.
On the what?
On the ones and twos. We're today on the ones and fours.
I don't
That
get
was a
it.
good one.
I don't get it.
I'm really learning this stuff. You're number one today.
Oh, because
and
of the
I'm
mics?
on Mike's number four.
Yeah.
So we're on the ones and the fours today.
Oh man. Anyway, guys, hey, welcome into the show. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Lots to get to here. Cancelthisshow.com Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. If you like what we do, please share it. We're all over the place. We have got Donna says a very happy Vic today.
Yeah, you do seem pretty happy today. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my air went out, and I need my air, and it was warm last night, so I slept with the windows open.
Maybe that's why you're so happy. You got the fresh air.
No, I've been training myself to do this
To do what?
because somebody I know sleeps with their windows open.
Oh, there's something to be said for sleeping with your windows
Yes,
open.
Megan loves the peace
Yeah.
of outside,
Yes,
so I have been training myself to do that.
that's a great.
But it rained all last night.
Wasn't that nice though? Or were you moist? Were you moist in your windows?
I don't know if I like that word.
Why do people hate the word moist? But people do hate the word moist. What's up with that word?
I woke up moist. Yes.
You woke up moist. I figured you did because your window was open and then it was kind of humid. And so then you'd have moist hair and
Mhm.
moist skin. I like that word. So many people cannot stand the word moist.
I think it's just the way that it rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, Brenda says she loves to hear the birds chirping. The only problem with the birds chirping in the morning is they start early. I mean, they start at dark 30. They start at dark 30.
They do. So do the frogs. We have a pool, and the pool cover, whenever you don't open the pool on time, the frogs get on top of your pool cover and they're loud.
Connie says moist is a sex thing. That's why people
Oh,
cringe.
serious?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Well, I woke up and there was water on my floor in the room. Then I came out.
Yeah.
There was water on the floor in the main living room
Mhm.
because I had the windows open because it was freaking hot because my air went out.
Oh,
Not happy.
yeah.
But I slept, I went to bed early though. So
You went to bed early.
Got
you
energy.
woke up moist and you got energy and you're
Yeah,
happy today.
no, I suck. I suck unlimited sleep. I am
Yeah.
The worst things that have ever happened in my life or decisions I've made have been when I'm on like 3 hours or 4
Well,
hours.
I think
less
that's
of
true
sleep.
of most people.
Um,
Yeah.
All right. Moist. It's a moist day.
Moist day. It is moist outside too.
It almost reminds me of the Sweaty Balls segment from
Yes,
Saturday Night Live
that's
with
right.
the what's her name, the actresses that they had.
Let's
Of
end
course,
the
Joe
show.
knows. He's the comedy guy.
I love it. It's like, that's how you
Hi.
talk.
It's the moist edition of canceltheshow.com. It's a moist Monday, ready to rock and roll.
It's like Molly Shannon. I
Yeah,
forget
Molly
the other
Shannon.
girl.
Yes. And then Alec Baldwin was there, and he was Mr. Sweaty Balls. And then, so if you're going to talk like that, you have to talk like this, Vic. It's moist outside today.
All right. We're acting like it's a Friday already. Mother trucker. Okay. I mean, we've got so many moist stories for today.
They are very moist.
Trump and DeSantis meeting. We'll get into that. What the hell's going on with that? A report surfaced on Friday that the White House wanted KJP out. Karine Jean-Pierre, no surprise there. Now they're having to backtrack because all these gay, lesbian, black community groups are all upset. That's the only reason she has a job anyway. She was a DEI hire. You look at her resume. Didn't earn it. DEI. But now they're backtracking on that. Hey, universities are finally starting to get a little tough, including WashU when it comes to these animalistic protesters out for blood. I've told you guys before, once again, there are more stories of sex stories in the church outside the Catholic Church than there are in the Catholic Church. And we had another one over the weekend. You literally had a non-denominational Christian church find out about a woman having sex with a 15-year-old boy in the church. She worked in the church. And instead of reporting her, they gave her an accountability partner who was the pastor's wife.
Get out of town.
Oh, yeah. And she didn't stop it. Yeah, I'm just telling you, that's why. It's like the media loves to go after the Catholic Church, but it's all churches, and it's sad. They will be attacked, and people are going to be human and do things no matter where you are. Just sad, sick, everything else.
But that doesn't make you human if you're a sicko.
No, that's true.
I mean, you're not. You're
That's a good point.
dehumanized person if you're a sicko.
We've got proof that Mike Johnson was paid. Literally proof that he was paid to push the Ukraine vote. There's proof now. There's also proof, again, more and more of the election fraud of 2020. It's insane. But thank God Judicial Watch and other companies are now getting dead people off the ballot. Dead people all over the place. There's also a billionaire hedge fund manager, hardcore liberal Democrat, says he's not voting for Biden. There's no way in hell he could.
I'm glad to hear
He didn't become a billionaire by being a dumbass. I can tell you that much. Says he's now seriously considering Donald Trump. Fantastic.
I'd love to hear that.
We have about 20 freaking amazing videos from the weekend as well. Stay with us. Like, subscribe, share the show. We're going to move fast. All kinds of things heading on this way today. Also, I don't even know where we're going to start with this. Oh, damn it. Must not. You know what? The video was pulled. And anyway, here's where we start today because this blew my freaking mind. Donald Trump. Ron DeSantis meeting in Miami. They had a meeting in Miami yesterday.
I love that.
What could it possibly be? Now, Ron DeSantis, could you imagine the status Ron would have if he wouldn't have done what he did? Fine. Hey, we all have a past. We make mistakes. You admit you make your mistakes. You get better and you move on.
Yeah.
So now DeSantis getting a meeting with the Don.
I love that.
Absolutely. Now, I know there's all this speculation. Oh, is it VP and they live in the same state? Can they do that? And everybody talking back and forth. But it is interesting that this meeting was not a publicized meeting. They didn't publish, and then people found out about it. What is it just about helping Donald with raising money? Is it about joining his staff?
I hope it's any of those things. I hope it's about helping with money, or maybe they're mending any fences that were broken. Maybe it's as simple as that. I don't know if he can be VP. It's not really clear whether he could even do that. I don't think that's what it is, but maybe be on his staff. That would be great.
All I know is it's a good thing if those two are meeting. It is a good thing in talking. They went after each other for a while. We all know what happened with Ron. He got destroyed, and that's fine. Now he's trying to build back.
Good. I'm glad.
And yes, we hope for him. We wish for him. He was never, ever, ever going to be a legitimate competitor to Donald Trump. And anybody who wasn't like prideful knew this.
Correct.
And we tried to be easy on all the Ron DeSantis lovers and supporters. We did. And now they're meeting together. So
I love that.
So Trump has allowed him back in. This is what should have happened from the get-go, but now we're here. Ron can rebuild his reputation and maybe help Donald.
Love it.
But I don't think they can still be on the same ticket, people, as a president and vice president. Gary says Ron will be a great VP, although it would be interesting. And it leads us into another. I saw this story come down. Sherry says that Christy Noem just destroyed her chances to ever be VP because in her new book, she talks about killing a puppy and everybody's chewing her up for it.
Yeah.
And even though the dog was aggressive and had horrible tendencies and had gone after people.
Yeah. But people, you cannot mess with Republican or Democrats' dogs. I mean, you can mess with a lot of things, but if you're seen as a dog killer, I think you're done. Unless she buries that again.
I don't know who approved her book and at the timing, unless she doesn't want to be VP.
Maybe not.
Because as soon as I saw the story come out, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, you're kind of done now.
People are going to do that.
They are.
But guess what? I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't care if you're pissed at me or don't. There are dogs. There are dogs. I repeat, there are dogs that are a menace to society, just like there are people who are a menace to society. And if you can't lock up dogs, and I don't know what that can't be around humans.
I don't disagree with you, but people don't see it. They're blinded by the puppy eyes. That dog, no matter what kind of dog it was, could have just ate a kid. And they're more empathetic towards the dog than even the eaten up kid. That's just dogs. You just don't mess with dogs. Now, if she did that because it was mean and she put it down, fine.
We had a dog.
Put it in her book.
Yeah, we had a dog that attacked both me and my sister when we were young. And guess what? We put the dog down just like, or my family did, just like Christy Noem did.
Sure. And that's a good thing to do. I mean, you're right. There are some dogs that, because of things that maybe happened to them when they were much younger, that are aggressive now, and you cannot trust them around people. They can't.
But it is sad. I agree. You don't put it in the book.
Yeah, you don't put it
because
in the book.
People are looking for a reason to be offended in 2024.
That's right. That's right.
And even those who aren't just have such a love of dogs. And I don't have any problem whatsoever with that.
Yeah. And I agree. And I agree with Annette. Dogs are a menace because of the humans.
Hell yeah, they are.
I mean, they're only, your dog is only.
Dogs are God's creatures as well.
That's right.
Creation as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just pisses me off that she is an incredible politician.
She's wonderful. And she shouldn't be crucified for this dog issue. It just should not have been put in the book.
Exactly. I agree 100%. But that leads us back to Ron and Don in regards to what the meeting is all about. And maybe more is going to come out of it. I was just glad to see that those two are going and doing whatever they can. Plus, the national media will go after any Republican. We know that. We know. Oh, Sherry says, by the way, guys, did you know that dog spelled backwards is God?
You know, I had forgotten that.
I'd never heard that.
And that
Good
is
point.
so true, because most dogs are the closest thing to God you're going to find.
Humans don't deserve dogs.
We don't.
I can tell you that much right now.
They're definitely the closest thing to holy.
They are, because they're so sweet, unless a human made them mean. They're just so wonderful.
And not only wonderful, but in a variety of ways. I had an amazing German Shepherd that was a purebred. Mom was from Germany, show dog. My dog Bo, who had his papers and everything.
Aww,
his ears were too big to be a show dog. So his owners were moving to Antigua, needed to find a home.
Aww.
This was amazing. But he was still, he was like a year, 2 years old.
Yeah, so he's still a baby.
But this dog, it was so damn smart. It locked us out of our house twice because it was pissed when we didn't know.
Oh my gosh.
It should have been a police dog.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but if anybody came anywhere near me, good luck.
Yeah.
If anybody came anywhere near our kids, it was scary where we'd have to hold him back.
Yeah, I get that. We have a German Shepherd now too, and she's the sweetest thing ever. But I probably wouldn't want to come up and hit one of us in front of her. I think that would, not bode well for you.
Yeah, no, Annette, I get it. Aggressive dogs are often the fault of human.
For sure.
That's why I have a butthole cat.
I got a couple of those too.
German Shepherds are the best I've had in my entire life.
Oh, Sherry's got a cute dog named Cairo. It's a German Shepherd.
Yeah, I miss my German Shepherd. That is for sure. Best protection dogs, some of the smartest dogs that you'll ever find anywhere. That's for sure. So if you guys have any ideas what's happening with Donald and Ronald, let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, I don't
Chime
know.
in from that standpoint. I just love to see what's happening, and it's all good. We need unity in the party. There's not a lot of it, especially when Mike Johnson is doing everything that he's doing. So we have to do what we do, at least bring these stories forward with what's happening across America, because that's positive news. That's good stuff that we can see all over the place, which leads us into the other thing over the weekend, which is not such great news. And I'm sorry, it's Mike Johnson. Okay, people, we've told you about Mike Johnson, but look at what has now surfaced when it comes to Mike Johnson and Ukraine. And I don't care how you feel. If you think Ukraine needs money, if you think, and of course they had to tie it in to money to Israel and money to Taiwan and a stupid TikTok. I'm sorry. I just think the TikTok situation is silly. By the way, ByteDance, the Chinese company, said they will never sell TikTok. They'll just go out of business in America instead of selling it. So we'll see where that goes.
That's right.
But look at this. We want to show you the information here. Okay, with Mike Johnson. The House Republican Speaker, who we told you none of it made sense from the get-go, how he could ascend to the office so fast, and then all of a sudden one day act like the truest patriot conservative there is, and then the next day sell America out. Okay, according to new FEC reports, and these are mandatory when it shows where funding is coming from for these political candidates. And of course, we've told you we can't stand that all these political action groups are out there. It's what's defiled politics. House Speaker Johnson has allegedly received $524,000 from AIPIC, and then another $95,000 payment from a foreign lobby group shortly after the passing of the $14.5 billion military aid package that was sent out. Congratulations, Mike Johnson.
Good job, Mike Johnson.
I mean, that look is the look that he should have on his face after
should.
seeing that. So guess what? He's getting a ton of money. So Joe, if you scroll, is there anything more at the bottom of that page, Joe? I couldn't remember if you can scroll back up again. So when you look at these FEC reports, and you're talking over $600,000 right after he pushed this through the House. And that's the money that went to Ukraine. And then all of a sudden, here comes this money in for Mike Johnson. What the hell is going on? Do we literally trust anybody or anything that's going on? But then the thing that scares me is the fact that Trump was still saying, okay, let's not get over him too much.
I still say what I said last week about him. You're not going to see Trump say too many bad things about any Republican right now, because he wants to unify the party. And between now and November, I don't think he's going to rip hardly any Republicans right now, because he needs all of their support. Well, so I think he's just going to say nice things about most of them.
Well, I mean, the AIPAC, I mean, it's an Israeli political action committee. So he's getting money for them. And of course, he's getting a big payment. Then the $95,000, which we were just talking about as well. It is interesting. As Alex said, there's a place for political action groups. But is there ever an excuse for foreign lobbyists? No. $95,000 from foreign lobbyists coming right back into Mike Johnson.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Ever. And when we talk about political action committees in the United States, yes, there can be a place for them. But come on, how are you going to monitor them?
Right.
You can't. That's the problem. It's the slippery slope. Once you take a little bit of that dessert bite that you're going to get that tastes so good, there's always a little bit of poison in it. It's a sugar that's not good for the body. And you want more and more of it. But guess what? There's more and more of the poison that comes. And then it starts to dictate policy that is happening. And that's what drives me freaking crazy. And that's why it's tough to trust any politicians, as I've talked about before. It's so difficult to deal in politics unless you're taking money. You have to have money. You have to have money for everything. And you have to have money there. It just sucks. It sucks that these things are going on. And obviously, I mean, you live it with your son-in-law.
I do.
I mean, he's a politician. He's got to have money. He's got to make tough decisions when it comes to how he's going to be handling things.
But you got to be very careful from who you take it from. And that goes to the point that you're saying, because you then you don't necessarily have to do what they say, but if you don't, you won't get another dime again. So you got to be very careful.
But isn't that sad though?
It is sad. The only person that I know, or that any of us on the chat line know, that doesn't, well, and actually he even does now, is Donald Trump. He can't be, bought because he has so much money, but he does take money from people now. He didn't the first time around, but he has money coming in. but I don't think it's to the magnitude that anyone's going to make him do something. I could be wrong, but I don't think so.
Well, he's had to pay a lot of money out.
Yeah, he has.
But he's gaining a lot of money with his Trump social media.
That's
I mean,
right.
that's what I find interesting.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
there's
a
a lot
beautiful
there.
thing.
So, I don't know. It's just all of the stuff that's going on. Money.
Mhm.
I just hate the fact that it's going on. But at least, hey, we call it out. We call it Republicans.
We do.
We call it Democrats. We call it independents.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, over the weekend, Trump lambasted RFK. He says he's more liberal than Joe Biden. Says it is a Democrat plant as well. And he says all of his policies outside of some vaccines are showing that he is nothing but a hardcore liberal and that it's a facade on the American people.
And I think there's two reasons he did that. I think everything he said is true about that. I liked RFK for a little bit, thinking, wow, I like his stance on the pandemic. But you get really down and deep and you see that he is very far left. And I don't know if he's a plant or not, but it does make sense. I think it's backfired on him, though. If he is a plant, they put him in there to take votes from Donald Trump. And it's backfiring because he's going to take votes away from Sleepy Joe instead. And of course, and just like what I said about what he's saying about Republicans, Donald Trump is going to blast both Biden and RFK Jr. He just is not going to blast the Republicans right now. He needs them.
Who's that? Who, you mean Trump?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I think his point is unifying the party. And he needs to do that by saying nice things about people. Now, I'm not saying people that are running for something. I think he'll still go after them. But if they're already there in D.C., I think he's going to just be nice to everyone.
By the way, this is canceltheshow.com. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. You can catch all of our episodes at any point throughout the day, throughout the year. Our library sits there on all of our platforms, canceltheshow.com. But of course, you can catch us at X, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, Cloud Hub Live as well from a video standpoint. And then, of course, we go straight to the audio platforms as well, Spotify, Google, you name it, Apple. We're all over the place. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo. We have the People's Platform, as we call it. Chime in. Your comments are welcome. You can agree. You can disagree. You can disagree. We get into everything. Hundreds of comments, if not thousands of comments by the time we get done each day. You guys educate us. We educate you. And just goes to show, Jason just said, it was interesting as he saw Mike Johnson also got legislation passed in 2018 somehow in Congress, which was the Foreign Influence Act.
And isn't that interesting that Jason is saying that? These are things, unless you dig down deep, nobody ever really heard of them. But once you dig down, you're like, oh, dang, that's exactly why he got in there.
But we try to be real. We try to be true about everything. We're not going to come here and say, oh, Mike Johnson's great because he's a Republican. Hell no. We're trying to educate you guys because local national news doesn't do it. That's why we enjoy doing what we possibly can. It is interesting, and I'm glad Donald Trump did this because from the get-go, I love Charlie Kirk, and I've told people that if you don't know him, check him out. I love Charlie Kirk because he is real, he is direct, he is honest. He literally goes to college campuses and does debates on why you're wasting your money unless you're are pursuing a career where you absolutely have to have a degree like a doctor or a lawyer, and talks about, no, I didn't go to college.
Mhm.
I was self-educated. And I love the guy, but Charlie Kirk did an interview with RFK Jr. first before anybody else and said, let me hear about your Supreme Court picks. If you were, and he refused to say it. Oh, sure enough, he was exposed. Just like Tulsi Gabbard exposed Kamala on the stage in the lead up to the presidential debates when the Democrats were running. By the way, Tulsi's name's still hanging out there as a possible VP pick, but I think she's too liberal for Donald.
Yeah, I think she is too.
I don't see
I
it.
like
I
her.
like her too.
I like her, but I still think she leans to the left a little bit too much. I don't think it's going to be her. I could be wrong because Donald, tends to surprise people, but I don't think
Doesn't
that's
he?
it. Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He likes to do that.
He does.
Speaking of surprises, you want to talk about surprises? Hello, everybody. When it comes to the voting, I love it. I can't figure out why CNN is giving so much praise to Donald Trump. I guess they hit rock bottom so bad that they actually have to start telling the truth. If it is the truth, because I think these numbers are even higher. We showed you last Monday the numbers and how Donald Trump was destroying Joe Biden. This is CNN. This isn't Fox or OAN. I mean, this is Newsmax. This is CNN. Check out the breakdown, the latest breakdown when it comes to Trump versus Biden, according to CNN, which we all know is still not giving the real numbers. Look at this, the breakdown.
Our new poll, which was conducted by SSRS, finds Trump is leading Biden, who has ample work to do with his base and with independent voters who are breaking to his GOP rival. In a head-to-head race, 49% of voters say they'd pick Trump for president, compared to 43% for Biden. That's a 9-point Trump advantage with independent voters. And add in third-party candidates, and Trump's lead jumps even more. He has 42% to Biden's 33%, and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. gets 16% of the vote. Our poll also underscores the challenges of incumbency, and that voters, 4 years later, have a better view of Trump's presidency compared to Biden's. 55% say Trump's time in office was a success, with only 39% saying the same about Biden's presidency.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
Well, it's interesting because Jeannie said that she saw the CNN subtitle and had to do a double take.
That's what I'm saying, from CNN.
Yeah.
I mean, why is CNN doing this? Well, Alex says, I think part of their plan is doing that.
Mm-hmm.
How about showing Trump way out now? So many on the other side are admitting that Trump is winning, that it's suspicious.
I agree that I think it's.
This is what I'm saying. I can't figure it out.
I agree.
We know that CNN has a history of lying, but we also know that they have now become, I mean, they've got a handful of viewers.
That's right.
They've got literally a handful of viewers in the 25 to 54 ratings group. And we break it down. I'm big on the scorecards. I'm big into the ratings. 25 to 54, a handful of people when it comes to the perspective of ratings.
That's right.
Are they trying to start saying truth to get people to consider them as a viable news source when we know what MSNBC has come, a complete clown show?
Correct. CNN, you can get a little bit of truth still there. MSNBC, you don't get anything. I agree with Eric on Friday that it's just a bunch of whining and begging for people to see their point of view. CNN is in a triptych, I think, right now. They know.
What'd you call it? A triptych?
A triptych.
What's a
means,
triptych?
you know, kind of like in a hard spot right now. They're in a
triptych.
A triptych is
okay.
like kind of in a hard spot.
The Lizzie vocabulary
mm-hmm.
guide will be coming out soon.
Yes, it certainly will. And so
wackadoodles are in a triptych.
That's right. And at any moment you can see a certain kind of a podcast. So, you know,
a patio.
You can watch all of the stuff.
But holy shit.
Yeah.
CNN is doing this.
Right. But I don't know why either. Is it that they want to be seen as a real valid news, or are they doing it to rev their base up?
I don't know, but I do know this. I'm not going to get sidetracked on it, but it is interesting CNN. I mean, Trump is dominating, guys. If you didn't realize it, swing states. I mean, he's even talking about, we showed you last week. I mean, he has goals now of winning New York.
He does.
Do you realize how massive that would be?
Yeah.
And Trump doesn't talk a lot of shit that he doesn't think he can back up. He just doesn't.
Yeah.
He's not one of these guys, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. Mm-hmm. He's very measured and he's very sought out. Everything is methodically planned. He knows the steps before he takes them. That's why I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
But then Fox News, up and down, all around, some good, some bad. Do you know that they did a segment on Saturday morning showing a timeline that showed from Joe Biden campaigning.
Yeah.
And then up top on the guide with the dates, it showed Donald Trump in court, Donald Trump in court, Donald Trump. I mean, they were giving this opinion as if Donald Trump isn't campaigning. And they didn't say, well, that's because he's stuck in court. They just kind of left it open as, well, Joe Biden's out there campaigning for the American people. I mean, you talk about a total crap piece by Fox News to allow up. Now, I don't know. Producers can get away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I saw it in local news. I mean, when the cat's away, the mice will play. And you saw a lot of that stuff happen on the weekends as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I'm going to let the way I was raised and my feelings come out now in these newscasts and how I produce things. Fox News was showing a graph doing that. But then by Sunday night, they're with other programs, they're like praising Donald Trump. And I'm like, just be real, be honest, be direct, and explain the story as to why and what's happening. Peter says, I don't even watch TV news anymore. Don't trust it. You can't.
You can't.
Can you even trust it for weather anymore?
Not even really.
Not in the Midwest.
Nope.
Not in the St. Louis area. Thoughts and prayers out to Nebraska families who are dealing with the tornadoes that came through as well. So how in the hell, with all the videos that came out, no fatalities? Did you see the worst tornadoes the state of Nebraska has ever seen? No fatalities.
Yeah.
And the tornadoes that were I mean, these were
These are
massive,
bad.
so close to homes, and they didn't go through the homes.
Yeah, that's just strange.
But anyway, yeah, you can't trust. It's difficult. From the chat line, yeah, CNN still has an agenda. Jeannie says, you know what, though? Trump uses those cameras after court to campaign as he should. Yeah, he's trying.
He sure does. He does.
He's trying. Donna says, I've decided not to comment anymore so I can watch the show. Okay, great. It's all good. I'm glad.
Yeah,
We
it is
appreciate you
good.
jumping in and watching.
Yeah.
Remember to like, subscribe, share the show. If you have guest ideas, interview ideas, let us know. We're doing that. Of course, we have our Free for All Friday segments as well with some of the things that going on. But after a full weekend, we attack right in with the politics. We got a lot of things coming up in the show still too. But when it comes to the political game and everything that's happening, this is what's going on. By the way, excuse me, I have to cough. We didn't have water here this morning. I should have brought water in.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't have water. I was like, damn. KJP, Karan Jean Pierre, a report came out Friday, and I'm telling you, I guarantee it's legit because it came from an inside Democrat source. Oh, thank you, Joe. Joe gave me one of his waters. That they were been trying to push her out. This did not just
this didn't just
get
happen overnight.
made up. It did not just poof out of air.
Right.
And then now all the rage came out over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens? Now the White House came out yesterday and said, well, those reports are false. We love KJP because the initial report said that she was what we have called her, the worst press secretary that this country has ever seen. And when she got her job, I complained about it on our previous radio station going, if there was ever a didn't earn it category person, applicant, the DEI, it was her. She just didn't earn it.
Well, she
and she has been brutal.
Yeah.
And then now all of her groups that she's associated with came out, started yelling at the White House, clean it up. So they cleaned up yesterday and said, oh, no, these reports were never there. We're very happy with KJP. Once again, it just shows the worst White House press secretary with the worst president ever, with the worst administration. And it all connects. The dots all connect.
Well, if they do get rid of her, do you know the vitriol?
Well, they won't.
That will
They
come
won't
out?
now.
They won't. And if they
The voters
did
have to get rid of her.
Oh, the vote. Okay. Well, if they did get rid of her, could you imagine who would uprise against that and say that they got rid of her because she's gay or because she's black or because she's stupid or what other things?
But it's sad. I'm trying to give everybody, it's like, I'm tired. We can't it's the first black woman, DEI, trans, whatever, that got elected on a Wednesday from a low end. It's like, give me a break. Best candidate for the best job possible. End of story.
Yeah.
Jeannie says stupid is right. KJP will go right to MSNBC. Of course she will.
I can see that for sure.
That's the landing spot for those liberal Democrats. I mean, I guess you can't. I mean, you see it at Fox too, though. I mean, at Fox News as well. I mean, you got your Republican, you got your Democrat, and then you go there. I was going to comment, but was not a Christian comment, so delete. Okay. The first mushroom haircut ever.
Mushroom. Oh, yeah, that is.
Because KJP kind of has a mushroom cut. Is that what you would ask for if you went into the stylist?
Apparently do. You go in and you say, I would like a mushroom.
Or do you say you want the KJP?
Yeah, now you could say, I want the KJP.
I don't even know what that would be considered, but I mean, you have some of those things that are going on. By the way, too, Bill Ackman, he's a hedge fund billionaire. Bill Ackman, check him out. Guy's brilliant. Super, super stud when it comes to the financial world. Says there's no way in hell he would vote for Joe Biden again. This is a lifelong registered Democrat. And he's made his announcements public.
Yeah.
They keep dropping. There is no way Joe Biden wins this election. Mophead was another one. Somebody says she looks like Raggedy Ann. That cut does look like a Raggedy Ann cut.
Now I really like her.
And she does blink her eyes a ton, Sherry. You're right. You know, that's when she's lying.
And that's why we can see her beautiful, makeup on her eyes.
Yeah. I mean, hey, listen, she's a pretty lady.
Yeah. She is pretty. Yeah. But, I think that what you do is you go in and you say, I want the KJP. And if they don't know, you just say, see your mop sitting over there in the corner. That's what I want it to look like. And that's her haircut.
The mop head. Looks like a cedar mop head. I don't even know what a cedar mop head is.
I don't know what that is either. Maybe it's a special type.
But the White House clearly trying to stop everything that went down with that whole situation. But Bill Ackman now saying he didn't say that I'm 100% for Donald Trump, but he said there's no way in hell I'm voting for Joe Biden. And he's now seriously considering Donald Trump. Once again, seriously considering Donald Trump because of the meeting with, and we addressed this earlier, if you're just joining us, with Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis yesterday, people speculating on the VP pick again. Ben Carson still hanging around. Somebody would like him. Tim Scott still out there as well in South Carolina. Two, of course, African-American men. Carrie Lake running for Senate in Arizona, so she's kind of out. Christy Noem kind of out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know who. I mean, it's still really up in the air. I have no idea who's going to pick. None. And it could be none of these people. He could really shock us and pick somebody he's not even talked about, that he's sat quiet about.
Elise Stepanek out of New York, another person as well, before anybody sends it to me. Just letting you know that she was also getting a lot of hype there, a lot of what's going on from that standpoint as well. By the way, this is, it is what it is. I'm not a big Colin Jost fan from Saturday Night Live, but they did have the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend, and it's always supposed to be a time where Republicans and Democrats come together. But they had a blast ripping Donald Trump and basically lying to try to prop up Joe Biden. And Joe looked confused, dazed and confused. We'll show you more of his dazed and confused moments in just a second. But here's the, we're fair. We listen. Here's Colin Jost with part of his monologue at the White House dinner the other night, the Correspondents' Dinner.
It's also wonderful to be back in Washington. I love being in Washington. The last time I was in D.C., I left my cocaine at the White House. Luckily, the president was able to put it to good use for his State of the Union.
Look at him laughing.
I'm kidding, of course. The president doesn't call it cocaine. He calls it high-speed rail. By the way, can you blame the guy for turning to cocaine? He must be exhausted, orchestrating 4 separate trials against his rival, rigging the Super Bowl, and gearing up to steal a second election. Wow.
Yeah, look at him. He looks so confused.
Biden laughed.
He did laugh.
It's also wonderful. I love being.
Yeah, you see how, I mean, it's kind of a funny joke. I mean, they went on.
Funny. I mean, he did bash Biden a little bit too, in a funny way.
But Biden looks so bad. And if you think that's bad, but it's they put him out. They rolled him out the other night for a long period of time.
Oh.
Watch him trying to eat dinner. Okay, does anybody else notice anything? I mean, this is the commander in chief. And Joe's amazing, and I give him videos, and is there any way to increase the size of this video once we start? Okay, just check it out. Watch Joe and his motor skills. I mean, we're trying to be as kind as we possibly can. Watch him eat. He gives up and just takes a roll. Look, like he can't get shit on his fork. Joe Biden trying to eat.
Who is that next?
Look, he can't. I don't know.
Somebody's telling him what to do.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. You're at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Just eat the bread. Now you're gonna go back now. Look.
Oh, he got in his head.
Guys, look at how difficult it is for him to eat. And I think
that's so
Benny Johnson
bad
for that. Guys,
yeah,
is that not so bad?
That's so bad.
Once again, it reminded me
so
of my
bad.
grandparents right before they passed away.
Yep.
God bless their souls. They needed help.
Yeah.
Guys, and once again, we
help.
cannot stop and just keep lowering the bar for a man. But the videos are there. You're not going to see it in your local news, your national news, Fox News, maybe not even showing it to you. But this is how bad it is. I mean, just look at that.
It is. It's so sad. I mean, I'm not a fan of him. He's been a liar and a cheater most of his life. But that being said, how do you justify putting a guy that looks like he's eating at the nursing home out there in front of everybody this weekend? I mean, and they think that we are being fooled by this. We're not being fooled by this. He doesn't even know what he's doing.
But there are a lot of people who are still being fooled, Lizzie.
You're right, because they're not watching what's going on, and they watch CNN.
Did you say liar?
Yeah, he's a liar.
Oh, it is. Well, I love this compilation. We talked about this last week, Joe Biden, how everywhere he is talking to a group decides to say that he's what they are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to lie and say what I need to say here today.
Yeah.
I don't know who put this together, but it is really, really, really good when Joe Biden's explaining who he is. Check this out.
I was sort of raised in the Puerto Rican community. I had a very close relationship with the Greek American community, for real. I am Joe Bidenopoulos. I grew up in a heavily Irish Catholic community in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and a heavily Italian Polish community. When I say I got raised in the black church, he knows I'm not kidding. The Persian culture is amazing. As a student of Persian culture, I probably went to shul more than many of you. I come out of the black community. The background of my family is Irish American, not fundamentally unlike the Palestinian people. I, you might say, raised in the synagogues in my state. Everybody in town was either Polish or Italian. I grew up feeling self-conscious. My name didn't end in an SKI. I was raised in a neighborhood where I felt self-conscious. My name didn't end in O. That's kind of how I was raised, like so many Americans of Irish heritage.
In HBCU in your home state, Mr. President.
Let me tell you, forget about it. That's right. That's where I got raised, man. Just like rabbis, synagogues, and Jewish community centers in your hometown, and that's the tradition I got raised. Hard-working people, the middle class, the neighborhoods I got raised in. I was raised on GM. I was raised by Danny Inouye. I was raised by a righteous Christian. I got raised on automobiles.
He's everything, isn't he?
He is literally everything.
He's amazing. I've never seen a man that's more the people than Joe Biden.
He's just the best.
Megan says multicultural, Joe. So well-rounded.
So well-rounded.
Now he's from Puerto Rico.
Mm-hmm.
Why doesn't the RNC run a montage of all the racist shit that Biden has said over his career on TV every day? That, according to Paul.
Mm-hmm. I agree with
He
Paul.
gives us so much all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We could literally do that. And then guess what? At that White House Correspondents' Dinner the other night, Biden tried to play Trump as not being able to speak well, not being able to walk, not being cognizant of mind. Once again, accuse others of what you're doing.
That's right. That's right. And Chris is saying, did he say I'm fundamentally like the Palestinians? Yes, he did say that on there.
Oh my God, he did.
He did. He totally did. So, I mean, it's like, if anybody that's Jewish heard that with what's going on today and you vote for that man, you are not very bright. That is unbelievable. But, he's also, he's Irish. He was raised in a black church. He's just so well-rounded, and he's just got the best, cultural way about him. If it all wasn't lies, it's all lies.
Well, we show you the video all the time. And anybody that watches the show knows that we're not going to let this stuff get out. We appreciate you guys sending us video as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you send us stuff that we haven't seen. Sometimes we've already played it on the show, but we are appreciative of you guys reaching out to us from that standpoint. It's getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just our opinions, but you see the things that are going on.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And will the hatred for Donald Trump still be there for people to actually deal with? But it's getting worse. We show you the voting. And by the time we get to November, it's not going to matter. It's not going to be close. Now you have to just worry about the election being fair, that things are being done in a fair way. Tiny says he also stated he was a pilot. That's right.
He was
a truck driver with a license, but he wasn't. Cindy says the archbishop, bishops, and pope should banish him from the Catholic Church. Several bishops have.
Yeah, some have.
They have. They've come out and not allowed him to receive the Eucharist communion because of his lies. Because he's lying. Because once again, We know that he doesn't know where he is, who he is, what's going on. He can't function. He can't unless he's taking the drugs or whatever he's taking, and then they wear off fast.
Yeah.
And when they wear off, we see what happens. He's stumbling around and he can't handle anything.
That's
It's like we say, it gets worse and 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 worse. Okay. There's always hope that things are going to get better when it comes to the whole election. One thing leads to the next, to the next, to the next. Well, I credit Judicial Watch, and there are people who know who Judicial Watch is and the work that they're trying to do. Well, we've also had more situations come out when it comes to balloting from 2020. This is what's interesting now. You've got to keep fighting. You got to keep trying to be fair, and you got to get the groups together to do that. For example, 1.2 million ineligible voters. I repeat, 1.2 million ineligible voters. As we show you the slide, are removed from LA voter rolls in a legal victory for Judicial Watch. I'll repeat that again. This is big. I know California's huge and LA's huge, but it goes on a lot of places. Once again, 1.2 million ineligible voters are removed from an LA voter roll in a legal victory for Judicial Watch. And if you're not familiar with Judicial Watch, check them out. They are now saying that they need 1,500 more petition signatures to meet their goal to bring cleaning voter rolls to Congress.
That's great.
So they say sign the petition link immediately, and you can find that through Judicial Watch as well. But once again, these are real situations that are happening. These are situations that have not stopped, and they all went back to 2020. And people will tell you, once again, oh, there was no issues, no problems. Well, now you have all these illegal people voting, and now they're trying to get them off the ballots. Thank God there is work. There's still work being done to try to make sure that all of these votes that went in are no longer. That's not it. Also, Virginia discovered, and this just came out this last weekend, 18,990 dead people registered to vote on their voter rolls in 2023. So they're demanding that all the dirty voter rolls, an invitation to voter fraud, as we know, be cleaned by signing a petition in the bio. And that was from Conservative Forever. Once again, Conservative Forever. And there are multiple counts of these stories happening all over the place with all of these voter rolls. We just want honesty.
Right.
If Americans want Joe Biden, God help us, fine. But not when it's this dirty. Not when it's the mail-in balloting. Not when we're having these situations. I know people are scared. We're scared.
Yeah, I'm very scared because it looks obvious to me, just as it did in 2020, that Trump is going to win in a landslide, and they cheat so obviously. They don't care that we know. They just want it their way of living. They don't want.
Jason says it's a start, Lizzie.
Yeah,
it's a start.
Thrilled that it's a start.
Paul says, is anyone surprised?
No, surprised that there's cheating.
Yeah,
was cheating. Nobody's surprised. I don't think anyone is surprised. Some people won't admit it because right after the 2020 election, January and February, you were crucified by people and just saying you were a sore loser when we were saying there was definitely.
You don't see people saying that as much now, do you?
You don't hardly see
because evidence has come out.
That's right. That's right. And there was evidence then too.
Of course,
a lot of it, but people didn't want to talk about it. They didn't want to say anything about it. But now there's so much. But I always say time is what brings out the truth, because we might all know it. And 2 years later, the liars will admit that it happened, but the damage were done. And it takes then between 2 and 3 years for the truth to really come out because they already did it. It's like, who cares? Yeah, we know that happened, but we got our way.
So when you see what's happening, and it's very difficult to trust. Hey, Joe, when I told you to take out the one Tucker Carlson interview that he did with a company, did you have the video from the other one by chance? I'm trying to remember if you had that or not. And the reason I ask is Tucker Carlson did an interview on Friday with a group that did a breakdown of what happened in the elections. And when it came to just strictly mail-in balloting and what was happening. And they went back and they literally found that 20%, repeat, 20% of people had a ballot or there was inconsistencies. Listen to this with Tucker Carlson.
It's now apparently a criminal offense, a felony in this country to suggest the 2020 presidential campaign was not on the level. That crime appears to form the basis of one of Donald Trump's pending indictments. He's an election denier. But actually, it's worth denying the legitimacy of that election because it was not fair. Critical information was withheld from voters through censorship, and yes, by the government. That is a fact. It's also a fact that Mark Zuckerberg spent $400 million to control voting in various places around the country and affect the outcome. That's not legitimate. It was also conducted in many places through electronic voting machines, and no country should ever use electronic voting machines because fundamentally they cannot be trusted. Why would you trust it? But then there's the question of outright cheating, voter fraud. Was there voter fraud? Well, we know there was some, but was it widespread? That is a hard allegation to prove, though of course many people believe there was widespread fraud. Well, now it turns out we know for a fact that there was, and in fact it can be proven with a poll. Just ask people, did you personally commit voter fraud? Well, that has just been done. And the answer is a huge percentage of people asked in the poll admitted, yes, I committed voter fraud. It's remarkable. Justin Haskins is a senior fellow at the Heartland Institute. He joins us now with details. Justin, thanks so much for coming on. If you could just start by giving us the results, the shocking results of this poll, and we'll go from there.
Sure. So it was pretty straightforward. We asked people a series of questions. The first of which is, or one of the first questions was, did you vote in the 2020 election, and did you vote with an absentee ballot? And if they answered yes to both of those questions, then we asked a bunch of questions related to voter fraud. We didn't tell them that we were asking, did you commit voter fraud? We just asked them about various behaviors. So for example, we asked people, did you vote in a state where you're no longer a legal resident? That's a pretty straightforward question. If you're not a permanent resident of a state, you can't vote there. 17% of people, nearly 1 in 5, said yes, they did do that. We asked people, did you fill out a ballot for someone else on their behalf? That's also illegal. You're not allowed to fill out someone else's ballot. 21% of people said yes to that question. We asked if people forged the signature of a friend or family member on their behalf, with or without their permission. We actually put that in the poll question, and 17% of people said yes to that. So, all told, it's at least, and I say at least, 1 in 5 mail-in ballots involved some kind of fraudulent activity. But we didn't just stop there. We also asked everyone, whether they voted via mail-in ballot or not, so in-person voting as well, do you know anyone who personally, in your personal life, a friend, a family member, acquaintance, someone from work, has anyone ever admitted to you that they did one of these kinds of forms of voter fraud? And 10% and 11%, we asked 2 different questions on that, said yes, people admitted to me that they committed voter fraud.
Thanks a lot for watching.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
20% voter fraud. The Heartland Institute, not some right-wing conspiracy group, not some right-wing. I mean, literally down the middle, trying to get out information, shows that 20% of mail-in ballots, and we have talked about it before, and we'll really break this down as we get into November from a closer standpoint. If that doesn't wake you up, I don't know what will. 20% of those polled, over 3,000, had some sort of voter fraud.
Yeah. They're admitting it now. They're admitting it. And so you need to take this clip of the show and send it out to your Democrat friend and say, what do you have to say about that?
I don't, yeah, it's good, but I don't know if anything's going to change. Do you really feel if you have Democrat friends at this stage in a game, they're really going to change?
No.
I don't know anybody who's down. I don't know what I'm going to do. I just don't. I know one person who's lying. I know they're, but anyway, I just feel like everything is so out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anybody that I've in my groups or circles of people who can legitimately say they're going to vote for Joe Biden. I don't know one person that is a friend or an acquaintance that would say that Joe Biden is a better candidate than Donald Trump.
I don't.
Not one.
They can't say, but they just look at the person's mannerisms as what Democrats do. Oh, he's mean. I don't like his orange hair. I don't whatever. And they're doubling down. And a lot of them are still teachers, or a lot of them are still, union people, that they just have doubled down. Those numbers are getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But there might be some of your friends that say that in public, but still when they go to the booth, either don't vote for either one of them or they vote for Trump.
Isn't that wild when you look at the breakdown, though?
Mm-hmm.
Not cheating, but election interference, Pam. Well, we're already seeing Donald Trump claims what's happening to him now is election interference.
It is election interference. It's
100% election interference. And then once you make it through election interference, then you have to deal with mail-in balloting. Then you deal with the millions of illegals who are here. And by the way, national media isn't talking about the border as much now anymore, are they?
No.
All of a sudden, these dumbass, animalistic protests of haters. I mean, these people are full of hate. Anybody who's out protesting against Israel, you're full of hate.
Mm-hmm.
You're full of hate. And you're full of hate. And I don't care if you're one or two people who are not full of hate, but when you're joining the hate people and the hate mongers, the bullies, the assaulters, you're one of them. You're guilty by association, especially if you're out as their main chant has become death to America.
Right. Death to America. And you hate Jewish people, and don't say that you don't.
So these things are all going on to try to take down Donald Trump. But my God, can't we just, it's when the evidence is there and we're showing you the evidence and more of the evidence continues to come out. That's why people are like, oh my God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen now with the mail-in balloting?
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen with all the illegals here?
That's right.
Are we going to be able to decipher all of the crap that's really going on? That, of course, according to the Heartland Institute, 20% of the mail-in ballots were fraudulent.
That's right.
Fraudulent. Were they fraudulent for Donald Trump?
No, all of them are fraudulent.
Because I think that's a fair question, because the left will go, oh, there's only election fraud if you don't get the result you want.
Well, that's what they say. That's what they say. And now they're turning around and saying that's what we're going to say.
Because you look at Missouri in the last election was what, like 76% Trump?
Yes, very high.
So is it just happening in swing states so that Democrats can say, oh, well, you got Missouri, you got Nebraska. Well, where was the voter fraud? Well, they're not swing states.
That's right. They only did it in
those states that the counting, well, we can't count anymore.
Correct. And that's why there's a lot of people that are in these, bright red states that are saying that there's cheating going on. There really isn't that much cheating going on here. It's just you might not got the Republican candidate you wanted. It is all in the swing states this is going on. And they're not going to do that here. So say if you live in Missouri and your friends are all Democrats, they're in the very, very much the minority.
Well, Donald Trump continues to say what this country needs. Joe Biden is still yet to come out against these protests, and we'll show you some more videos. Colleges are trying to do a better job at that. He still has yet to come on that. He is still yet to talk about what's happened in Israel. And then now we have Russia coming up with a whole new situation. First of all, Donald Trump came out over the weekend and said the reason that Israel can't negotiate with Hamas anymore and Palestine is because there's only a few hostages left. He says there is no bargaining, and Hamas knows that. That's why they can't come to the table, because they can't just let Jews be there. They're going to kill them because the hate is so there.
It really is.
Joe Biden's nowhere to be found. That's why he's not a leader. Donald Trump is having to make these comments. When I see Trump, I still look at him as our president. Despite all the bullshit he's being put through, he's the leader. He's the one that's out making the statements that need to be made. He's the one that's showing leadership in the midst of all the controversy. He said that we're going to find out very soon that these hostages just don't really exist anymore, that there's only a few left because Hamas has killed them all. He's like, mark my words. He knows this, his own intel, his own people, but our country isn't telling us this. Thankfully, Donald Trump is. And you know what else Trump is talking about, which people should be concerned about too? When it comes to Ukraine, as he said, he would end that in a couple days. Now, I know it's getting worse because of things that are going on, but he said, look out for NATO to go do something. And all of our viewers and listeners, or many of you already saw this coming as well. But now you see all the money being put back into Ukraine. And if you understand what NATO is about and for, and it's a big breakdown segment, because you'll see people go, oh, well, is NATO bad? Is NATO bad? No. But if it's used in the wrong way, yes. Trump has also said, be very careful now about what NATO will do. And we have talked about this with starting a war. Look at this quote from one of Vladimir Putin's main guys in Russia. This just came out over the weekend, and this is very serious as well. And thank God Donald Trump is calling this out, and we try to bring attention to it as much as we possibly can. From Dmitry Kisilov, quote, if NATO sends troops to Ukraine to defeat Russia, nukes will hit American decision-making centers and launch sites. France will be disarmed in an instant, and I apologize to any Irish. The British Isles will go underwater. Okay, that's a massive, massive, massive statement to come out and say.
It's a big statement.
Now, we've heard that from leaders, Kim Jong-un. We've heard China come out with some crazy ass comments. Russia's not playing around. And the problem here is that if NATO starts to engage and we're promoting Ukraine and Ukraine and NATO together, then we are technically in a war with Russia.
Yeah, we don't want that.
And if we go into, and we already know globalist, deep state, as Donald Trump talks about, they want controversy. They want problems all across the world, especially as the 2024 election comes.
That's right.
Is this a precursor? Because now there is word that NATO's going in now, backed by the United States, to fight Russia. But, oh yeah, we're just sitting back. No, we're not. And Russia knows it. And it's a war that Ukraine cannot win by themselves.
They cannot win by themselves. And Joe Biden wants it to make it our problem. And the fact that now what you were just saying about NATO, and we are in big, big trouble. And most of us know that, but we are just very far. I would say far. We're not far apart now from a World War III type situation.
The comment came
closer
from a Russian politician who is associated with Vladimir Putin regarding their military. Because now word is there, NATO's going to come in. They're going to try to, because Ukraine can't win.
They can't.
And then we continue to give them money. Obviously, we showed you the stats earlier. Mike Johnson getting paid from foreign PACs right after he takes care of Ukraine. Pam says, if we know our history, I would take Putin's side when it comes to Ukraine.
A lot of people feel that way because Putin is over there. He is not our friend. We all understand that, but he just is taking care of Russia. He's Russia first. So if we leave him alone, he's going to leave us alone.
It won't find you, or it won't take you very much time to find video of George Soros talking about his connections with Ukraine and talking about Ukraine's connections with Joe Biden either. The video's out there. I watched it a couple days ago. We ran sound on this, I believe, when we first started the show. It's why I didn't show it again today. But George Soros is out there talking about his connection with Ukraine and how the Ukrainian government has connections with Joe Biden. Okay, just remember, and not normal political connections, but connections, beneath the table connections. Those are what people should be concerned about, especially when Russia is now saying what they're saying regarding everything that could happen if the United States is involved in this, if NATO comes across. Because once again, if you're paying money, you're involved. You are.
That's right.
You're involved. And Megan says, what is the win, everybody, with that war? There is no win.
There is no win.
Russia is not going to stop. They want the old USSR. And I think it's rightly theirs. That, according to Megan. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't.
Right.
But I can tell you one thing. The fact that NATO is sitting right there and you have America right on their border, we would be pissed if the situation was flipped.
Absolutely.
If it was America and Mexico or America versus Canada.
That's right.
And then, oh, Russia's going to come in with their new BRICS group. And yeah, they're going to sit on our border and they're going to funnel them money. Yeah, I think about this.
Right.
I know a lot of people in America don't get involved in it, but I know you, the listeners that we have that come into the show do. You get very, very involved and you're super damn intelligent. but these are things that can and could very, 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 very well happen. Russia thinks it's theirs. I'm indifferent, according to Megan. Yeah, I agree. Chris says Ukraine has dirt on Biden. It's clear with his profit connections and the American government for running the biolabs, which we have broken down, illegal in their country. Yes, biolabs all over the place. Russia showed it in videos when the war began. That's why this administration is so invested. That's why Mike Johnson, Republican House Speaker, pushed it through. He's getting connections and money, and that's why he got what he wanted. Republicans don't want to hear it, but we call everybody out because we're worried about facts, not feelings. Facts first, set the stage, and then we'll talk about feelings after. Those are all serious, serious, serious issues that we should be very, very concerned about. But what are we learning about? We're learning about these damn protests across the country.
Every day.
I mean, you saw the stuff. I mean, we broadcast out of the Midwest, out of St. Louis, national show here, though. But over the weekend, the pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah groups marched on Washington University. And I'm going to credit WashU.
Me too.
The St. Louis City, the Metropolitan Police Department, Richmond Heights Police Department, and other surrounding police departments that came in. They arrested over 80 protesters and eliminated that dumbass threat that these animalistic protesters were trying to cause. And their whole protest, WashU, how dare you have any connections with Boeing as they're killing innocent women and children in Gaza.
And some of the aldermen, this shouldn't surprise us at all. A couple of the aldermen who were not arrested from St. Louis City were there in defense of the Palestinians while they were there.
That's who they're voting for in St. Louis City.
That's exactly right. But the police department did a great job. And I'm with you, Vic, as liberal as WashU is, and they are very, very liberal. They didn't want this on their private campus. They didn't want anything. They stopped it pretty early.
You know why? Because they see what's happening at NYU.
That's right.
They see what's happening at Columbia. Money goes out the door, and they're like, oh, shit. They got a problem at Columbia.
They do.
And it's a problem that's going to persist as well.
That's right.
Their population of their students, it will go down. They will have less donations. They already had Robert Kraft pull out money. They don't want this. They need money. Everybody wants money, especially at universities.
That's right. And I think I'm agreeing with Bindi here. They'll come back again, but I think they'll do one of two things. They'll either come back with a lot more people or it will start to dwindle. It won't be the same amount, but they're already seeing that St. Louis police and Richmond Heights, they're not going to put up with this. WashU's not going to put up with this.
You got to do what you got to do at these campuses. I credit Liberty University. I can't remember if I sent Joe the picture or not. Joe, I would have sent it on Friday or Saturday. Don't even worry if you couldn't. It would have been a picture. But Liberty University, they came out and had a massive campus-wide prayer vigil.
They did. It was beautiful.
Against all of the things that are going on. These kind of events can happen. That's what should happen. Trying to pray for everybody and against what they're doing and trying to take over college campuses. Joe says they're going to SLU next.
Oh, they will. You know they'll go to SLU.
Exactly.
SLU
they
is
stopped
just
it.
as liberal.
So they won't lose the alumni donors.
That's right. Hopefully SLU.
It's all about money.
Well. But Liberty University, my husband graduated from there, and they are getting more and more liberal students that are going on the online campus. But the main campus is holding strong to biblical principles, and that was really great to see this weekend.
Well, universities are trying to step up right now.
They are, and that's great.
It's after what, and guess where it happened? All the bullshit protesting by the animalistic men and women assaulting Jews and death to America happened where? The same damn place that's going after Donald Trump.
That's right.
It's New York. That horrible, awful, liberal situation area. That's where the people in power are the worst of the worst, the elite of the elite, the most demonic of the demonic to doing what they're doing, hate-filled, using political strength however they can to stop Donald Trump, are the same people that are pushing and allowing this. And they're the same colleges and universities that hired all these sympathetic imbeciles, ignorant professors of any truth, hate in their heart. That's why it was happening. The rest of the country is doing what they can to stop it. It's the upper Northeast bullshit from a hardcore liberal progressive standpoint that we've seen. And it's all coordinated. These people are getting paid to do this. It's not for a love of heart.
No, it's not because they really even care. They don't care about the Palestinians or the Jewish. It's literally BLM again and again and again. Now it's different people, different causes, but the same people. And it's the same people paying for it. And it's getting old and people are tired of it. And even the people that used to be part of it are now seeing it.
Yes, a million times, Vic. That's what would happen.
Mhm.
The other situation, Steiner agreed. Lots of leftists are there at WashU. Best professor I had was an economics professor. I'm trying to see. I was trying to look at the comment before I continued. I didn't know if he was saying it was SLU or WashU.
Yeah, and Matthew's the one that's saying it. I think he's talking about WashU there. And one of the WashU professors
Yeah.
also did get arrested in this situation, but most of them stayed out of it. So
Yeah.
that was nice to see.
Well, the other thing, what some of the colleges are doing now, they're arresting them and only allowing them out if they agree not to go back to campus.
Correct.
And they can't go back to campus
Mhm.
if they get arrested, and then they can't teach classes.
Correct.
And you know what? The leftist and the progressive left liberals and Biden supporters
Mhm.
are so fear. How dare the police? And guess what? It's called a deterrent because it's public property. You don't have a right to be there, or private property.
Yeah, it's private.
You don't have a right to be there.
No, you can't do it.
But this whole group and the mentality, the DEI mentality, and I'm entitled and I get to do this and I get to do that.
nasty.
It's so bad.
It really is. It's a nasty group of people.
But there is hope. Universities and colleges, we had a chance to see what they allow in New York because we know it's a total shit. It's a total shit show
Mhm.
in New York City
It really is.
and those surrounding communities because it's so hardcore, liberal, left, progressive, influenced by money and political peddling. It
Mhm.
blows our freaking minds. But colleges are stepping up. They're trying to help and do something. And thankfully, WashU stopped.
They did.
WashU
They
doesn't
stopped
want it. And I guarantee alumni are like, we got to stop this. We can't have this look for our campus.
No, it looks really bad. And most alumni probably don't even care about what's going on with these stupid protests, and they want it stopped. And they will pull their money if this goes on their campus.
But in the midst of all of this nastiness, be that shining light in the darkness.
Amen.
I have a big time love for Arizona State University right now because Lizzie, this video should make people very, very happy. And if anybody ever wants to say that frat boys are no good for anything,
Frat boys.
check this out. This is from, and Joe, you can play it and we'll talk over it.
Look at these.
Listen to the sound of the woman. These are Arizona frat boys tearing down the pro-Hamas in camp, and police are allowing them.
And we've got the pigs in brown doing nothing about it, although we are being forced off campus.
It's called them pigs.
Pigs in brown.
Uh-huh.
Pigs in brown.
Pigs in
Look
brown.
at these.
I'm glad to see that because Arizona State got a lot of progressive liberals there too. So I was glad to see that the fraternity brothers are just getting rid of it.
Is she talking more, Joe, or did it just start over?
It started over. It's 20 seconds.
But look at this. I wanted to break this down. The police were allowing them to do this.
That was great.
And they wouldn't let the protesters, the anti-Israel, death to America, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah, pro-Palestine, agitators, aggressors, animals, go do anything. They made them watch. So you had the Arizona State fraternity.
That's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, they should get keys to the state or whatever.
Absolutely, they should.
Keys to Tempe, Arizona.
Uh-huh. That's good for them. That's really awesome.
Isn't that a beautiful sight?
That was beautiful.
Police will like come through here. We'll bust your ass up if you want to go
Uh-huh.
try to stop after you're here illegally. We've asked you to leave. That's the thing that you don't tell. Police come in. The schools are coming in and saying, listen, you have to leave. Okay. And they're giving them hours. And they're saying, this is what's going to happen if you don't leave. But they are so entitled because they've been told you deserve this and you deserve that, that they refuse to leave. This is the best video.
It really is.
Arizona State. I know you're known as the #1 party school in America, and people can rip the education there. All you do is go there for a 4-year vacation. but I love Arizona State now.
All
Yeah,
their
that was pretty
tents, all
cool.
their flags, everything
Yeah.
gets thrown in the back of
It
that
is. It
truck.
is definitely known as the party.
This is how you take care of stuff quick.
But those party animals right there are ripping down the palace.
Amen, Arizona State University.
Love it.
And the police, because it took a lot of, as Lizzie likes to say, a lot of what, Lizzie?
A lot of balls for the police to do that.
Hell yes.
I loved it. And Megan's saying on the chat line, that same one that was calling the police officer brown pigs, they're the same ones that need the police officers because they're so entitled. When somebody mows their lawn before 8 a.m., they're the entitled leftists that call the police on their neighbor.
And by the way, if you're watching us on X right now, if you could please follow us, we would greatly appreciate that as well. We just need a bigger following so that we can do some more massive broadcasting production. So if you can, please, if you think of it, just go ahead, start to follow us at our X on canceltheshow.com. It's under Cancel This. If you're watching, just please hit that like button or follow us. And of course, we appreciate it. And we'll follow you back from that standpoint. And that's not it. Police and people are getting fed up.
They are getting fed
Check
up.
out this Georgia State cop when you had a bunch of idiots protesting again. And then what they do, these protesters, they try to urge on some sort of, quote, police brutality. They push your buttons and people in your face. And if you've ever had anybody in your face, pointing in your face, you know what it can do.
Mm-hmm.
I've been there.
Yep.
I've had somebody get in my face and point in my face. Watch what happens. These are the kind of things that they do. These are the tactics that these inhumane animals will use to try to put police who are just doing their job in a bad situation. And I wish this is our feel-good segment.
This is great.
Outside of Arizona State and what the police
This is
allowed the
even better. I
fraternities
love
to do.
this.
Watch this. Georgia State.
You're hurting me. You're hurting me. Ow! 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 Ow!
What a little pussy.
Right? I want my mommy. I want my mommy.
That's not even right
You're
or fair to
hurting
do to
me.
police.
And
This,
then he falls all out.
see, look what police are Ow!
Ouch! Ouch!
He wasn't in pain until that happened.
Well, I mean, watch it again. I mean, here, and by the way, like, subscribe, share the show. We're going to show you successes.
This is great.
And as they're walking, everything, and of course, he's got a ponytail.
Of course, he's got a man bun.
Well, it's not even a man bun.
It's a man bun ponytail.
I don't know if that's a he, she, or
I don't know what it is either.
It also looks like he had like
think it's
some
a
sort of a
feminine
turban
guy.
or something, like a checkered turban on his head.
Yeah, I think he did too, around his neck.
what fell out of his pocket.
It was a one of those Stanley cups.
Oh,
He lost his Stanley. You're hurting me.
and he's not doing it. And by the way, the cop is walking normal, just with his hand on his, not doing anything to this guy. The kid is lying. Somebody raised that little SOB.
They
Just
should
think about
be
it.
so
Somebody's
proud.
parents are watching that.
And
Could
I
you
wonder-
imagine if that was your kid, your child, your flesh and blood, your love, your interest putting into that?
Mm-hmm.
And then he's fake lying. So he's lying, oh, you're hurting me. The cop's walking with it. The cop handled this as best as he could. And by the way, great strength by this cop.
I love it.
That's a lot more difficult. And it's not just to get him out of the situation. Well, he walks him.
Yeah,
He does the 100-yard dash with him.
I love it. I love it. That would be so great to see that in person. And like you said, if that was his mom and you raised that, I bet she is one of those people like Megan Green from St. Louis City that's so left.
Insufferable.
Insufferable.
Refuses to deal in fact.
And probably is proud of this sort of behavior. I would be so embarrassed if that was my
Susan
son.
thought that was a girl.
Well, he screams like a girl.
Ow! 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 I
In all
mean,
fairness,
that
I'm
is the
sure that
epitome.
did hurt, but he
that is
asked
the
for it.
epitome of what all these protests are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they've become. And not only are they coordinated, we're not talking about the border anymore.
Yeah.
The headlines are about the salacious fake Trump trial.
Mm-hmm.
And it's these idiots around the country trying to take over colleges.
Well, I would love somebody that still votes Democrat and say that's obviously somebody that doesn't vote at all or is a Democrat. What do you think about that? Would you be proud if that's your son? I mean, I wouldn't be proud of it. That's just ridiculous. And he looks such like a sissy boy. That's why people are saying it's a girl.
Well, Tommy
It's a
Tornado
guy.
says liberals will absolutely destroy America before they'll allow Trump back in.
They will. They will.
I know that the polling
Tommy's
is
right.
absolutely amazing, and we show it. And I still think back to what Vivek said when he was campaigning, even for Donald Trump, saying there is no way in hell the deep state is going to allow Donald Trump to see the White House.
You know what?
I
That's
can't forget
chilling.
him saying that.
And a lot of
They will
people
do
are saying
whatever it takes. And you see these protests going on.
Mhm.
I brought up the situation in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Now the United States, along with Ukraine, pushing through NATO into Russian territory. We talk local, we talk state, we talk national. Of course, we talk the world politics as well, because they're blending.
They are blending. You can't just figure out what's going on in your own state anymore and stay in our own little bubble, because it is all blending, especially with the border being open and people coming into all of our areas. It's definitely blending with what's right, what's left, what's Republican, what's left. It's all blending.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo Now. So we appreciate you guys joining us every day. Special thanks to WeQuip USA. Once again, WeQuipUSA.com. You literally go to their website, you rent products on their website wherever you are in your own neck of your woods. And of course, you can also have products that you put up for sale that people can rent as well. There's insurance. They rent rooms and spaces. Just a fantastic company. WeQuipUSA.com. Of course, Wenty's in the Chesterfield Valley in the St. Louis metropolitan area. Some of the best food you're going to find anywhere. Service, good times, a massive outdoor patio, especially great when it comes to the spring and summer months. And of course, they've got Wenty's Roadhouse opening it's going to be like May 16th, May 17th.
Okay.
That, of course, in wine country, in Missouri, in Defiance, Missouri. What Ben and Marl have done to the new place, they've cleaned it up. It's going to be the same place, but nice, new.
That's awesome.
All kinds of options for people to enjoy themselves when they're there as well. And special thanks, of course, to the St. Louis Injury Council attorney David Gregory. If you've been in a car accident, if somebody's hit you, a trucking accident, working comp situation, or a political situation. Remember, he was 7 for 7 in getting people their jobs back that were fired because they refused to take the cupcake. You know what the cupcake is?
Yeah, we know what that is.
Thing in your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And he promotes himself, and he's unashamed to be a personal injury attorney as a conservative super attorney, David Gregory. You can reach him at GregoryFromMissouri.com. We give you that website, GregoryFromMissouri.com, because he's also running for state senate, and you can reach all of his outfits through GregoryFromMissouri.com. We will put up his logo soon. He is jumping on with us. And by the way, if you go with David, let him know you're from Cancel This. Let him know. He will take special care of you. I promise. David Gregory, when it comes to the St. Louis Injury Council, I used him. He was massively, massively incredible. Had no idea. I got hit once. I used him. Guess what? I got hit again. I went right back to David Gregory. You're not going to find a better attorney when it comes to that. And for those of you who know, David comes on our show and he talks about political issues. He talks about ruffling feathers in a polite way. He talks about getting the most out of his clients and what he can do for them. I met a client the other day. She had black mold all over her house.
Oh, wow. That's not good.
Yeah. And the owner refused to do anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they gave the owner a chance to comply. The owner didn't, for a lower price. 4 years later, the owner paid like 4 to 5 times more than what they offered because they refused to get the job done. David Gregory, St. Louis Injury Council. Go to GregoryFromMissouri.com. Once again, GregoryFromMissouri.com. His personal number is on the website, and he says he'll call you back personally. You're just not going to find companies that do that. There are massive companies where you don't talk to the big name.
Mm-hmm.
With Dave, you do. And that's why I loved him, because of what he did for me. And my experience was outstanding. So this is Cancel This, canceltheshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. We appreciate the platform that we have. We call it the People's Platform. It's for you. You can jump in. Of course, we shoot our show live Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central. But you can find us all the time at our website, canceltheshow.com. We have a donate button. It can be small. We appreciate anything that helps us pay our bills for free speech podcasting, for this live show that we do every single day. We also have merchandise on the website as well, canceltheshow.com website. And also, if you know of partners that we could partner with, local or national, that could do a good job with their company through our big base that we have, not only throughout the Missouri area, but across the country, let us know. Vic at canceltheshow.com, Lizzie at canceltheshow.com as well. And of course, we continue to bring you the best interviews that we possibly can. And we appreciate all the support that you guys give us. It really is outstanding. But you can watch us on X. You can watch us on Facebook. You can watch us on Rumble and Clout Hub. We are there. And of course, we go to the the audio sites as well. As soon as the show is finished, Apple, Spotify, Google, and all the audio channels that are there. Okay. We talked about AI on Friday a lot. Remember?
We sure did.
Well, this is just an incredible story that blows my mind. There was, and I'm setting this story up for you. This isn't a political story, but this is a life story. And it's what AI can do. And it gets into race. You have an athletic director who is black. He made via AI a tape, which was a fake racist tape, saying that it was the principal of the high school, a white principal, on the tape.
Eric Johnson warned us about this.
Yeah, he did.
And Kelly Mano from the Kelly Mano show, who we had on Friday, saying she was worried about these things happening.
Yes.
Well, look at this tape. Listen to this tape. Just listen to what this guy did. Now, for our viewers on the podcast right now, we have pictures of the two individuals. Once again, this is a black athletic director framing or trying to frame a white principal by creating a fake racist audio recording using AI. Is this where we are now? This is scary.
I'm the principal here, me and only me. Between these ungrateful black kids who can't test their way out of a paper bag, or these teachers who don't get it, how hard is it to get these students to meet their grade level expectations? And don't let me get started on DJ. I'm going to drag his black ass out of here one way or another. And if I have to get one more complaint from one more Jew in this community, I'm going to join the other side.
I'm sick of people playing the game and explaining or trying to expound upon this theology that America is a racist place. The funny thing is that America is such a non-racist place that people have to make up racism. Now, we already talked about AI and how AI is being exemplified and potentially it's going to grow into something crazy, which I think a lot of people already agree with. But this is an example of how the fake racism meets AI. Can you believe this? Can you believe somebody would have the gall to do this to another man's reputation for retaliation?
Wow.
Okay. This happened in a Baltimore suburb. It was at Pikesville High School. And this whole situation ruined this principal's life for a while, because guess what? Principal Eiswert was removed. Actually, he was removed from his position, required police presence at his home as he dealt with all of these threats online.
That is just
until they figured out what happened.
And you know, some people are still going to believe
the principal's name is Eric Eiswert. And he was allegedly speaking to a vice principal, Kathy Albert. And everybody believed this black athletic director when he brought this tape forward.
Wow.
And this guy, his family was being threatened with death threats. And all of this here, what should be the crime for this? And Liz, you bring up a good point. There will still be people for the rest of his life,
yes,
that believe certain things about him that are not true because they heard that audio tape.
That's right. I hope he really does now go out and defends himself. And I'm not saying that he should go back and smear the same guy that did it, but he's going to have to defend himself. Not just, now that he's been cleared of saying it, he's going to have to do it for several years to come, because there will be somebody that didn't ever hear what he really did or didn't do, and it's going to affect him for a long time. Hopefully, he goes back into his job and most people just leave him alone and it starts to, go away after a while. But I mean, what kind of dark soul that athletic director that did that would do that to the principal because he didn't like something about him? It's just, wow. That's one of those.
Well, Brandon Tatum broke it down at the end of that, and he does a really good job on his podcast as well. And there are certain issues he can talk about with more ferocity, being a black man, than we can. It's part of the life and bring more attention to it.
Absolutely.
But fake hate, it happened at the University of Missouri years ago. There was fake hate, and it brought the campus to its knees because it was fake. Oh, there was never proof of any racist material being put in these halls. As a matter of fact, there was more proof to it being planted to create fake hate.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that fake hate is out there,
it's out there.
Think again. It is out there. And this is another instance of that happening. Now, investigators spent 2 months. This principal had to endure this for 2 months.
That's awful.
With his family. But investigators spent 2 months gathering internet and phone records and finally were able to link the recording to the athletic director.
And what happened to the athletic director?
That's what I was trying to find out from that.
I never heard what happened to him after that. I mean, I don't hear if he spent jail time, had to pay a fine, if he was fired. What happened to him? At the very least, he should be fired. At the very least.
How about there? Don't you think there should be charges?
Oh, I absolutely think there should be charges.
Well, his name is police arrested Dazan Darian, the black racist athletic director, who's a total piece of shit.
Total.
There should be a special cell for him.
Yes.
When he goes to jail, and it's in a certain wing with certain color skin, because don't think for a second, police don't do that stuff. Police arrested him. He's a 31-year-old athletic director. He was charged with creating the false audio.
I mean, he's 31 years old. That's young. And
he was trying to get out of town, by the way. They nabbed him right before he copped a flight. He was trying to get on a flight for Houston, but he got flagged.
Good.
Listen to this, for poorly packing a firearm.
Now that's scary. Not that he has a firearm, because, our Second Amendment says he can have a firearm, but that's just so interesting that he was trying to leave and then he doesn't leave. But I would love to know what happens to him. I wouldn't be surprised if he had no jail time whatsoever. Maybe an overnight stint and that's it.
Well, his picture needs to be plastered everywhere. There should be a civil suit also against this man for doing what he did. Because number one, first of all, the hate and fake hate that certain African Americans will, and not all, but certain African Americans will create.
Yep.
Because people want to be offended and they're looking. There are certain people who are looking. There's white people who are looking to be offended.
Absolutely.
There's every race. There's people who are looking, and there's every race of people who are not looking to be offended.
That's right.
Number one, that this guy would do this to another man. But then two, that's AI.
Yeah, that's pretty sad.
And that was the principal's voice. And that's why he had the death threats and had to have police presence protecting him for 2 months.
So did they let the principal go back?
It doesn't say.
Yeah. See, I'm kind of with Chris on this. I could see, well, they'll have to buy out his contract, just like some school districts do, and then he's going to have to go somewhere else. I mean, I just think at least for a short period of time, there's going to be so much.
Well, now everybody knows. No, but everybody in that school knows.
Well, I hope so.
I guarantee everybody at that school knows, because it's been going on for months.
Well, good. I hope he gets his job back and can live there relatively peacefully.
Yeah, but he didn't get to do his job until they found out. They removed him from the position.
Yeah. But we can't find out whether he went back or not.
I can't ever remember a story like this happening.
I don't remember that either.
Where it's the person's voice, but it was not real.
Yeah. That's sad. Like Glenn's saying, it's like a Jussie Smollett situation.
Well, and of course, and Jesse's just a horrible man, I mean, even after having an opportunity to go through everything, still trying to go back on his lie.
Yeah, he's still trying to say that red hat people hated him.
But big tech does big tech get some of the blame here?
I mean, how do you get big tech?
I don't know. That's why I'm trying to break down the situation. That's what we do. It's just, I don't know how you do that.
I don't think big tech is going to be held responsible for this, even if they deserve to be held responsible.
They fired the AD because of what he did. And of course he's been charged. And if that guy ever gets a teaching job again, something is wrong with that school.
But and that's where you have to speak up. And schools these days are so understaffed. Just even in the Wentzville school district, a parent brought to my attention, and I'm not going to say her name, they're putting substitute teachers in there that have known psychological studies on them that are very bad.
And you're talking about a school in the St. Louis area.
I am. And that's what our kids are having to deal with, is people that are just kind of off their rocker. And they're having to deal with kids that are now, but a good thing about this is kids now are speaking up that these wackadoo people that are actually sick, it's not even that they're wackadoodles, they're mentally off. And that's what our kids are having to go to school with now, is people that are off because good teachers are quitting left and right. And you're left with inferior humans to teach your children these days. And I'm not saying this as everyone. There's still great teachers there. But ask a teacher that's in the school district. Everyone that I know said, yes, there are subpar subs there now and subpar teachers that they're working with.
The other issue to think about for a second, if this was you, what if somebody made a tape with fake hate? Because we already see what's happening. There is a entitlement DEI community out there.
Yes.
And you know what I'm talking about, that still say white people are racist. And it frustrates me because everybody I'm associated with is not.
Yeah. I don't have.
And by the way, every race can be racist. So let's not even talk about that. And every race has power to do something.
Yes, that's exactly right.
When I saw that story, I went, oh my God, could you imagine? Because we know how society works. You're guilty until proven innocent, and not proven innocent to everybody, because nobody should be entitled.
Right. But they are. There's some people, well, they think they're entitled. And that athletic director might have had some, if it's a DEI type of school, maybe he was emboldened to be entitled. So he took it this step forward, and that was way crossing the line. There's no defending that.
I just get pissed over and over and over at what's happening. Just think of this. The social, Jason says, so sick of the social experiment, if it really is a thing.
Yeah, I think it is almost like a social experiment, and it's failing.
And Trish says, just remember, the people who are yelling racist are the biggest racist of all.
That's typically
it usually is the case, unfortunately. And I see too many of that mentality in St. Louis, and I see it in the St. Louis City area as well.
Yes.
I see it in Chicago area, and I see it in a lot of the areas that are really run down and beat down, because that makes people feel good. Oh yeah, this is going to be our way. We can fall back on this and not have to worry about having to do something for ourselves.
Correct.
So AI, here we go to see what else happens. And it's a terrible story. It's a bad story, but you know what? Things are going to happen. Another horrible story that happened. How about this? An Arkansas teacher and church volunteer has been charged with sexually assaulting a 15-year-old boy, grooming him at a church. And when the church found out about it, instead of reporting her, you know what they did? They said, well, you've got some sin in your life. Now you're going to have an accountability partner who is the pastor's wife.
That's crazy. If the pastor's
and she
wife,
did it again. And then finally it got reported.
They didn't report it the first time.
No, they did not do it. They assigned her an accountability partner after they found out that she was grooming a 15-year-old boy at the church.
And that's so interesting. I would love to know if they ran a child abuse screening on this person beforehand.
She was also a teacher at school. This is a teacher school.
Okay.
So the accused pedophile was a teacher at Little Rock Christian Academy and was also a member of the student ministry at church.
Well, you just proved my point that subpar people are getting into, whether it's public or private, they're getting into the schools, and it's really a problem for our kids. You have to equip your kids these days to be strong, even against the teachers. It's so sad. It really is.
We'll continue to talk about that. We have some great comments coming in as well. Derek says, I am selling my white privilege card if anyone is looking to get ahead. And Chris says, but Vic, the left says you can't be racist against whites because they're trying to change the definition and say it's about perceived power, not just hate against a race.
That's right.
Matthew says, correct, because liberals are good at one thing, projection. Blame conservatives for exactly the things they're guilty of doing and believing, like Joe Biden at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend, saying that Donald Trump isn't mentally cognitive ready to be president, says that he can't speak or talk. I can already hear Obama and Jake Sullivan writing that on the sheet for him.
Yep. It's got to be written on the teleprompter.
Roland says, I'll take one. I lost mine. And Roland is a black man as well, who we appreciate jumping in. Jason says it's simple. They've twisted it all. They've made it where only whites can be racist and not blacks. And we all know blacks can be racist and have power in situations over whites. That's just a fact. I experienced that when I went to Detroit too. I moved into a neighborhood that was so nice. The community was looking at me like I was white trash. Trust me, I experienced it going to certain places in a variety of ways, being a reporter and being called nasty names that are racist names. Yes, I get it. Greg says, no matter what you say, someone is going to be offended in 2024. Just try describing Lizzie without offending someone. Just saying blonde hair, white woman offended bald persons, trans, and racist people.
Yep. There's people out there that no matter what you say is going to pick apart what you're saying. And it's sometimes people of your own ilk. And what I mean by that is politics. There's people ripping people up because everyone wants to be right. Everyone wants to be heard, and they will tear someone else
Don't
apart.
they?
Yeah.
You're so right.
I mean, they want to be heard. And when they're not heard, they will tear you apart, even though 90% of the time they agree with you, but they just want to be right.
By the way, Donald Trump, again, doing what Joe Biden isn't doing. And we give you the updates of everything that's coming out, calling out the horrible anti-Israel protests that are going on around America. Literally, he is coming out and talking about this, and Joe Biden still has not addressed it. But we have some numbers, as we said, as colleges are now and police departments are trying to do something. These are updated stats and numbers. You're approaching about 900 to 1,000 arrests nationally.
That's great
already when it comes to the hate towards Israel and Israelis here and Jews here in the United States, and people who try to support and love Jews.
Yeah, it's so sad. People have forgotten, all of these people have forgotten the Holocaust. And so you can't be quiet about it. You have to speak up about this.
No, of course you can't. And at least we have a leader who is doing that. And God knows what Joe Biden is doing. Seriously, God knows what the hell he is doing.
Joe Biden doesn't even know what he's doing. He has no idea what he's doing.
And the other situation that's happening, as Trump brought out, was the fact that administrators at these schools, and some of the schools, were literally handing the keys over to a woke mob to try to get done what they want done.
That's right.
Think about that. And what all the crap that we're dealing with in the United States. This is cancelthisshow.com. When it comes to other situations, this is, and I know we're getting into summer. We have to show this, though. This was from Chicago over the weekend. The weather is getting warmer again. Remember how bad the last 2 summers have been in Chicago. Crime at all-time high, murders at all-time high, stores being looted in a once beautiful city. And now we had, I'm just telling you, look out. This stuff could be coming again, and could be coming again very, very soon. This concerns the hell out of me. Look at what was going on over the weekend. I think this was some Saturday night in Chicago. This was after fights in stores. There was looting reported. Could you imagine being downtown?
No.
Look at people running by the Walgreens. And this is just starting in Chicago now in April.
Yes, and as it gets warmer, more of this is going to come out.
Would you imagine if we do get the Black Swan event, if we make it to an election, what's going to happen either way?
Either way, that's what somebody told me over the weekend. If you vote for Donald Trump, you're going to have the summer of love again. And I said, we're going to have it either way. If Biden wins, we're still going to have this all summer. And if Trump wins, we're still going to have it. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is what the left is trying to get across to intimidate people.
Racism, according to Lisa, is a term invented by Leon Trotsky. His real name was Lev Bonstein, a Marxist Jewish man, to justify the destruction of European people and to weaken their self-protective instincts and identity as a tribe. In all caps, it is only applied to Europeans. It is used as a method of control when any European dares to see anything from their point of view. Makes so much sense.
It does make so much sense. And so much that has been European has now been brought over to America. And that word racism is so overused.
Are we worried about the scenes that we saw in Chicago? Derek says, I'm willing to bet that these people are not from the area. They are bust-in looters.
I agree.
Tanya says riots will be everywhere, even here in Missouri.
For sure.
When it comes to the election with certain situations, if it were to happen where it didn't come out. And don't think for a second that those would not be planned, coordinated by a few to disrupt the many.
That's right.
To corrupt the many.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because you can take the paid protesters, bring them into an environment, and then advertise it to them. And then the people that come out, there will be some local, no matter where it is, and they rev up the weak and the angry to destruct.
Roland says, okay, I'll tell you how it all works out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're coming into a summer. There's lots of controversy out there. There's lots of people trying to figure out what the hell is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, hell, this is the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. Just think of all the stories we've covered already.
Yeah.
We've gone through like 20 stories, fast, hitting it, showing you what local news, what national news doesn't show you, reasons to be concerned. Yeah, I would be too. Lisa says my son was freaked out a bit when he heard protesters were on Emory campus, a campus full of nerds. And of course, that's what happened last week. We showed you some pictures from Emory where you literally had these protesters trying to cause all the hate that they're trying to cause all over the country.
Right.
And nobody from a national standpoint, at least from the Democratic Party, had called it out.
Right.
The Democrats have not one thing on their side to run for.
They don't.
No policy
Nothing.
issues. Nothing.
Nothing.
And then, of course, these meaningless protests continue to happen. And and this is what happens. They take on new meanings.
Mm-hmm. They do.
Maybe a few people started out who were legitimately loving Palestinians who didn't want Hamas in control.
Mm-hmm.
But even then, it's a small little itty
tiny.
bitty number.
Yes.
And then it takes on this whole new scene. The hate eventually shows itself. The evil of which this was all brought about shows itself. And then before you know it, it becomes a death to America march, death to conservatives, death to white America. It's shame on these people.
Yeah, shame.
And of course, liberals not saying, but in fact, sticking up for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's an issue. The Cori Bushes of the world from St. Louis.
He's terrible.
The Chicago mayor. These are issues. These are problems. Chris says start investing in precious metals like brass and lead before we start seeing another, if not worse, summer of love. I'm willing to bet we'll have that Black Swan event in the midst of these protests.
Oh, I'm sure we will too. I'm sure when the Black
I would
Swan
think if
event
it was going to happen, it would happen in the summer or end of the summer.
Correct. That's when it's going to happen. I don't know what it is, but what I'm hearing, and I said this last week, is it's not going to be one huge event. It's going to be all summer long. Something happens. We just about forget it. Something else happens so that it's little by little by little. And that's what Joe is called the death by 1,000 cuts. That's what our summer is going to be like.
We don't know what, but we start to see a lot of things happening.
That's right. And Pro Joe is saying it's going to happen in between July 4th and September 11th. And did you hear those dates? They're very significant. I'm hearing that too, Joe. That's where you need to be careful because they know.
But why? And where is this coming from?
Well, I'm hearing it just all over social media, and I'm hearing it from people like ZZ that's been on the show, people that don't love our country. And Joe, you can go on this too. They're going to pick, dates, which are like America dates, as well as large groups.
Okay. I'd like to verify because that's the reporter in me, but
okay. So there's no verification. This is just like common sense predictions. I mean, if you're going to beat up America, why not do it on special days that America's like?
Correct.
Or at least they, even Veterans or Memorial's Day, these are going to be dates that could possibly have things.
Correct. And that's all over the internet and people that are speculating this is when it's going to happen.
Well, the thing about it, and I try to look at it from an educational standpoint, we have been told by FBI Director Chris Wray at least twice, expect lone wolf attacks or keep your head on a swivel for things that can happen in the United States.
Correct.
Could that be, is it a terrorist attack? Is it terrorist attack combined with rioting? Is it some other situation? All I know is deep state can produce any sort of controversy they want to.
That's right.
Think about that.
That's right. And we can have a lot of these questions we can answer. We have a guest coming in the 9 o'clock hour that we've had requests from our listeners, and we can ask him all of these same questions. Tomorrow, Eric Greitens is going to be in studio.
Oh, he's coming in tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow at 9
Former
a.m.
governor of Missouri.
Yes. And he's going to be in, and we are free to ask him any of these same questions we've been covering. What's his opinion about what he knows about intelligence? So our chat line, come with your questions tomorrow.
I don't know about PAC money.
Yeah, I want to know about that. Ask that too. Ask about any of it.
That's what I would be very interested to hear.
Yeah, I'd like to hear about PAC.
John says any attacks will be coordinated by the government, specifically the Democrats.
That's right.
Sherry says the bridge was a terrorist attack and it was silenced. And now we're starting to get more. I haven't heard any updates on the investigation. For anybody who didn't know, there is a criminal investigation into that, by the way.
There is.
Which I found interesting. Of course, they tried to keep that quiet, keep things low. Whenever I think it was Glenn who told me over the weekend on a text that people who saw the movie Civil War thought it was great.
I've heard.
I don't know. And it was based around a young girl who I think is from Missouri.
Yeah.
I think I heard it was from Missouri as well.
Okay.
But anyway, haven't seen the movie. Just don't know what kind. If anybody has, fantastic. You updates on it. If you liked it, if you thought it was worthwhile, could that be something that could be happening? Is it a realistic movie? But man, so much going on from that. So Eric Greitens, former Missouri governor, coming in tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I forgot that we had him on the show.
Yeah. He's going to be here tomorrow in studio at 9 a.m. and it's already been confirmed he will be here.
Robert saw the movie Civil War. He says he thought it was bad.
Yeah, that's what I heard. More people that said it was bad than good. I haven't seen it. I don't know. So I'm hearing mixed reviews.
Interesting. I'll still see it.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, but I don't like Robert's taste in a lot of things.
You have seen it?
Just kidding, Robert. No, I haven't.
Oh, you haven't seen it? Okay.
No, I haven't. I said I want to see it.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
absolutely.
I'd like to go see it.
Of course, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, I want to see it.
And just decide. I mean, nothing can be worse than the movie I spent time that I'll never get back watching from Obama.
That's right.
What the hell was the name of that movie?
Oh,
the Obama movie.
What was it?
Leave the World Behind.
Leave the World Behind. That's exactly right.
Leave the Obamas behind. What?
Yeah, leave the Obamas behind.
Drop off that garbage.
That's
Take that to the dumpster.
It was like that. It was that bad. But I couldn't help the entire time I was watching it. As I've said several times, it's what Obama and Jake Sullivan want to be doing to us.
Yeah, but things could be worse. I mean, we could have cicadas.
That's right. That's right. We could have.
Oh, you mean cicadas are coming to Missouri in 2024 or the Midwest?
That's right.
Brenda says dumb movie. Civil War is a dumb movie.
Well, I don't know if she's talking about Civil War or if she's talking about the Obama movie. I'm not sure.
But we like to end on fun notes and good notes. And I love it when these signs pop up. Fenway Park. It's another reason. The Yankees fans started doing this. There were people at Yankee Stadium who were dropping Trump flags from levels.
I love that.
Well, they did it in Boston now too. So, hey, better late than never. I'd love to see this at a Cardinals stadium too. But with our Cardinals management, I could only imagine
they would be
that people would have their tickets taken forever in St. Louis. Look what happened at Fenway Park. Just check out the video. They lowered this massive, well, it's not massive, but a big sign that says Trump won. Yes, that's Boston. That's not Nebraska.
Right.
That's not Missouri. It's freaking Boston. That's the Kennedy's backyard. Oh, do I love it?
I love it so much. I do. It's the best.
So we got up and walked out of the Civil War movie from Vernon.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, Glenn. I don't know how you thought that this movie was so good or who you found out from. All we're getting is negative reviews on the movie Civil War.
Yeah.
Okay. John says, I saw it. Could it happen? Yes. The movie didn't define who the bad guys are. And I said that last week.
You did.
I said, they're not going to define who the bad guys are.
Right.
Because they can't and they won't.
That's right.
It had nothing really political about it. Our enemies are from within and must be called out even in such a movie. Yeah, but you're not going to get that.
Yeah, we're not going to get that.
You really think you're going to get a movie saying that
No.
liberals and Democrats are evil?
No.
I mean, we can't go overboard. I'll get on board with maybe there's a mental illness somewhere.
There is a mental illness in the very far progressive lefts. But you know what?
Lizzie's brought me over to that side.
It is. If you are progressive left, not a Democrat, not just a Democrat, a diehard, there is something wrong with your brain. There really is.
David says, I think you, Vic, and Lizzie should go see it and give a live review right after the movie.
We should do that, Vic. That would be good.
I wanted to see it, and now because there's so many damn negative reviews after the Obama movie, I don't want to waste more of my time.
I know. And I'm hearing it's a waste of your time. Why don't we wait until it comes out on Netflix?
I feel bad that I wasted 2 hours of my time watching the new Roadhouse movie. Really, legitimately, I can't ever remember being this let down by a movie.
And the bad thing is that's actually a show. It's not a movie. It's something that's going to be.
What's going to be a show?
It's a show. That's a series.
What? No, but
Civil War's going to
Roadhouse.
Oh, Roadhouse.
They're going to make a series out of that?
No, that wasn't a movie. That was a series, apparently.
What? It was a 2-hour movie, but they're going to make.
Oh, I don't know. I was under the impression that was a series. Like they were actually making it into like a show that you would watch on Netflix.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
There's hardly nothing.
There was
good
yeah.
to go
Jake
see
Gyllenhaal's
anymore.
body was the only thing good in it. It was all terrible.
Good old Jake.
I mean, bad. They can't make a series out of that unless they can bring back Patrick Swayze via AI.
Mm-hmm.
And how about that? Could you bring back old actresses via AI?
You could.
After the bullshit that we just saw with that
you
AD?
know they could. You know they could.
Oh man. Todd says, so you're saying Conor McGregor is not a good actor? No, he's terrible. He's a fighter and he's a promoter and he's a talker, but he is not an actor.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah.
Derek Pratt says Democrats are Sofa King. We taught it. I don't even know what he means by that. Roland says
it's code.
Yeah. Roland says I gave up on Hollywood. They aren't coming back. Oh, there is no way in hell Eric just said this. We have a listener viewer who just said the new Roadhouse movie was great.
Eric just said that. I haven't seen it.
Something is seriously wrong with you, Eric. There is seriously.
I haven't seen it. Okay,
Eric?
so Eric, what did you like out of that movie?
Did Jake have a body double or an AI body? No, it was all his. I saw the backdrop on it. Roadhouse was a movie, but they are making a series. It was a hilarious movie, but it wasn't supposed to be. That's my point.
Yeah, that's what Abe
it was
saying.
so bad. It was so bad. Where's my Patrick Swayze? Pain don't hurt.
Pain don't
What
hurt.
doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Nobody wins a fight.
Nobody.
Thought you'd be bigger.
Good old Patrick Swayze.
Anyway, all my lines. All right, we're going on. We appreciate everybody jumping in today. I don't know. We'll figure out if we need to go longer or not. I know this is when we start to hit more and more people watching live.
Our numbers.
I'm out of material. If you got any material you want to talk about.
Well, no, not really. We covered everything that we said. And I was just going to remind everybody to make sure that there's so many people on right now. Make sure that you're on tomorrow. Come loaded with a bunch of questions. Eric is going to be here tomorrow. because
Eric
Eric
Greitens,
Greitens,
former
sorry,
Missouri governor.
Eric Greitens, because so many people
Why did they
asked
reach?
me,
Yeah, why did they reach out? Why did they want to be on the show?
why did Eric
Yeah.
Greitens? Well, Eric,
I mean, besides this being canceled.
well, there's two reasons why I think he wanted to be on. He says favorable things about you. I helped work on his
That's
campaign,
nice.
so I know him really well. So he likes our show. He actually even went on Mark Kason's show here with Renew Media, which reminded me what everybody was saying. And if anybody hasn't seen Eric Greitens on that, you should see it, because they didn't get into politics because you couldn't, because Eric Greitens is no way like Mark Kason. But the only reason why he was on
the only thing they share is that they're Jewish.
And their parents were friends. That's why. That's the only reason why he went on Mark's show, is their parents were friends. So there's just a lot of people want to hear. A lot of our listeners absolutely love Eric Greitens, and they've reached out to me and said they want to see him. They want to hear from him. So when I talked to him, I was like, please come into the studio. I said, I'm asking you, instead of doing a video chat, they want to see you in the flesh.
Eric and I talked about this in the past, and I've told people, but it's Eric Greitens and I. We played Little League soccer together.
You told me that. I did not know that.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says great things about you.
Of course.
So he does.
Yeah, I scored all of our goals.
Well, he didn't brag about it. We need to talk about that tomorrow.
What's interesting is he played defense, and he's a little bit younger than me, so he was playing up with us. So that means he was
really good. Yeah.
And he was very quiet.
He is a really quiet person. That's what people don't know about Eric Greitens. He's actually a very
And I was
person.
Our emotional leader.
I can believe that. I can believe you are the emotional leader, and he was quiet but deadly.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, we appreciate you guys joining us today. Thank you so much. Sherry says Eric was a victim of the deep state setup of the takedown. A lot of people have their opinions from that standpoint as well.
I think a lot of people do know that he was the beginning. When that happened to him, I said to Eric at that point, you are the beginning of what's going to happen to Donald Trump, because they weren't doing it to Donald Trump as very much. My belief on Eric Greitens is they saw Eric Greitens as being the successor to Donald Trump. And I really believe that. He was kicking ass in the state of Missouri. He was doing things conservatives wanted him to do.
Yeah, but in politics, you got to play your cards right.
Well, and
if you have anything in your past,
correct, you have to already have it out.
Yes.
If he had that information out, instead of people finding it and him being quiet about it, he might still be here. And there was a difference between Eric Greitens and Donald Trump, and the fact that Eric Greitens didn't have endless money to fight the battle like Donald Trump has. He has a lot of money, but not endless money. And that was part of the problem. And he didn't have a Melania. Period. He didn't have a Melania. His wife, he got out because his wife asked him to. And then his wife left him anyway. So it's the truth. I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. So, I mean, but his wife absolutely was a Democrat. I mean, I was at his original, party where he won, and his wife wasn't happy.
I get it. And I'm not trying to be mean, but if you're married.
Yep.
And you're having an affair, and it goes public, that's very difficult to deal with.
Well, and it was prior to, I'm not saying this in defense, because I don't like affair. I don't like that at all. But it was prior to this happening, but he still should have let his campaign people know. I mean, it's just, we talked about that.
Yeah, I know. It's water under the bridge. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope the best for their kids. By the way, if you're listening or watching on X, please follow us.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate it. If you do follow us, we are trying to gain, followers when it comes to X/Twitter. And if you don't have an account yet, please get one. Check it out.
Get one.
There's a lot of really cool things that we can do on that platform as well.
It is.
And we are grateful that, and if you want to join other platforms, hey, we're grateful that you're jumping in as well. We're just trying to do the best that we can here on the fastest 2 hours in podcasting, as we affectionately say. As Paul says, if you have dirty laundry, you don't run for office unless you bring it out, like Lizzie said.
Yeah, you have to bring it out. Look at Donald Trump. When he ran, people were saying, look at all the stuff he did. I go, but that's the thing. We already know what he did. He's admitted it. He said it. There's been movies he was in about what happened to his marriages and this and that. And he did take ownership for his first marriage falling apart. I mean, so if Eric Greitens had done that, but I don't think his wife would have allowed him to do that. You can't have dirty laundry because it's all going to come out. And you know what? The interesting thing is, just like the AI guy, if you're in politics and somebody's against you, people are going to make up dirty laundry too.
Yeah,
they're going to
that's
make it
true.
up. But that you can say, I didn't do it. But if you have dirty laundry, almost everybody does. I'm not saying everybody has cheating in their life, because they don't. But if you have dirty laundry and you're going to be out there, you have to own it. You got to own it.
And we appreciate you guys jumping in today. So for Pro Joe and Lizzie Sparks, I'm Vic Faust. Thanks for watching the fastest 2 hours in podcasting, canceltheshow.com. Once again, we have donate buttons at canceltheshow.com. Anything helps us as we continue to try to grow. Also, we have merchandise on the website. And if you know of anybody from a national standpoint or a local standpoint that wants to get involved, talk to us about advertising. We'll put packages together that make sense. We are grateful. And once again, if you've had any sort of a car accident, if you've had a truck accident, know of somebody, family members, any of these things, if you've got a situation from a political standpoint where you've been wrong because you're a conservative, David Gregory is the man. Gregory from Missouri.com. Gregory from Missouri.com. He's licensed in states all over America as well. Gregory from Missouri.com. He's got a cell phone there. He said he'll give you a call. But let him know you're from Cancel This, because he'll take care of you from a standpoint when it comes to making sure that you're helped. I promise you. Canceltheshow.com. Let them know. Guys, have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow for canceltheshow.com. That does it for the April 29th show. Tomorrow, what, last day of April already?
Yeah, last day.
Damn. All right. Have a great day, guys.